At this video from Mar-a-Lago, a party was hosted. It was Trump's party. And for some reason, I didn't know if this was something to do with furries, like what the Sam Dam's going on. Look, they're all wearing dog masks. The question is, are these guys up to something and maybe hiding it in plain sight? Is there things that they know that we don't? Or are they under some type of mass hypnosis or perhaps some form of mind control?
You're on the record talking about, quote, non-human life forms that could be interdimensional beings who are visiting us. Can you just explain more to people at home what that might mean?
It's directly based on information that we've received from witnesses.
We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's going to make us question everything. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, let's seek the truth.
I just learned about money. There was actually a man who found $7.5 million inside of a storage unit that he bought for $500. He negotiated with the original owners and they paid him $1.2 million to return their money. How do you leave that much money in a place? Oh my gosh. Less than 10% of all wealth managers have actually outperformed the S&P 500, meaning the majority of everyone is more successful just investing in an index fund than actually working with a wealth manager. Starbucks is currently holding over $2 billion in gift card balances right now. This means they are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year from those balances just because you're not purchasing coffee. Only about 25% of all McDonald's monopoly prizes have ever been claimed. Michael Jackson has earned $3.5 billion since he passed away 17 years ago, which, by the way, is more than any celebrity alive or dead.
U.S. used weapons the world has never seen before in Venezuela.
A witness has said that the United States used a powerful mystery weapon that brought Venezuelan soldiers to their knees during the capture of Nicolas Maduro. The witness described how the American forces wiped out hundreds of fighters without losing a single soldier, using technology unlike anything he's ever seen before. Witness, which was a guard, said, quote, "We were on guard, but suddenly all our radar systems shut down without any explanation." He added, quote, "Next thing we saw were drones, a lot of drones, flying over our positions. We didn't know how to react." He then said a handful of helicopters appeared, saying, quote, "barely 8, deploying what he estimated were just 20 troops in the area." He said that those soldiers came with something more powerful than just guns. He said, quote, "They were technologically very advanced," adding, quote, "They didn't look like anything we fought against before." He then added, quote, "At one point they launched something. I don't know how to describe it," adding, quote, "It was like a very intense sound wave. Suddenly I felt like my head was exploding from the inside." He then added, quote, "We all started bleeding from the nose. Some were vomiting blood. We fell to the ground unable to move. We couldn't even stand up after that sonic weapon or whatever."
Sounds like to me that they are using frequencies now to fight. That's exactly what he described. If you're familiar with Stranger Things, there was a scene towards the end where Eleven is being taken down by frequencies. Sounds a lot like this. Stay weird.
Did you know that the English language was purposefully manipulated in order to keep us in a low vibration and disconnected from the meanings of the words that we're speaking? Words are spells. That's why we learn spelling in school. Every sound that we speak has an energetic meaning and footprint that ripples out into the ether in the form of sound energy, creating the very fabric of reality as we know it. Now let's look at some examples. You have to be in a very weak daze in order to make it through the weekdays. Notice the double meaning of week and days. Same sounds, different spelling. The same goes for the word weekend. It sounds very similar, almost identical to the word weekend. So when you say during the weekdays, you're casting a spell of being in a weak daze. By the time you make it to the weekend, you're so weakened by working a job that does not serve your soul. Job stands for just over broke. And every morning, you are mourning the loss of your time and energy.
There's no squirrels
I didn't put that
That
together.
is a thing. Really?
I learned that this week. That blows my mind.
Have you seen the photos?
I've seen videos of squirrels eating the heads off of lizards. Has this always been this way?
I don't know.
Because they're eating lizards, frogs, mice. human food, like meat. I saw one holding a chicken wing. Yeah!
I saw a
To
photo.
supplement if they
And Darren Watkins asked this lady, why is his nose broken off and why is a lot of the statues' noses are gone? And she came up with this crazy explanation as to why they have no noses. But we all know why their noses are broken off. Because a certain people group went over there and they did not want people to know the true history of our world and who the people were during that time. And so they hit off the noses because noses give a complete distinction of a person's ethnicity and where they come from. So the easiest thing to do is to knock off their nose. That's why when you go to all of these historic places, you see a lot of statues with no noses. They do not want you to know in simple terms that they were black people, that they had these types of noses. They don't want you to know that. She comes up with this grand explanation as to why they did it and all these different things. It was like the standard of beauty and And it's just like, bro, at this point, the lies are tiring. Like, is it that deep to just admit that black people are historic and we were around longer? Is it that crazy to admit?
It should be illegal. How few people know about what this man has just done. After spending the last 21 years of his life building a miniature model of New York City, he hops on TikTok like it's nothing with no background, no mic, not even lighting, and casually drops that he's just carved nearly 1 million buildings by hand out of wood. He said he's finally completed all 5 boroughs, and the section that he's holding in this video is just 1 out of 350. He says he doesn't have it on display yet, but once it's laid out, it will be 50 feet long and 30 feet wide. That's just over half an NBA court. And if you break down the calculation of 1 million buildings, that's an average of 130 buildings a day. Every day for 21 years straight. And this is probably alongside a full-time job. Bro needs way more recognition for this. So if you are a museum, an art gallery, or anything else, please hit my man up and put his mini NYC on display. It deserves it.
Oh my gosh. This is what do I say? This is like if you gave a toddler a crayon at a restaurant and just let them go at it with the table. This is absolutely crazy looking. That's a picture right there. I'm taking a screenshot of that. Wow. That is nuts.
Y'all, talks between the U.S. and Mexico has started. So Trump wants the U.S. and Mexico to do joint operations so the U.S. can come in and destroy all the fentanyl labs that Mexico had. And y'all know what a fentanyl labs is, right? That's where the cartel be at. That's their shit. They own it. They run it. So essentially, they finna go ahead and go to war with the cartel, y'all. Now, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. The cartel, they all wild. They crazy as fuck. They got hella bangers and shit. But they don't want to mess with the U.S. military. I'm not gonna lie. You just seen what they did in Venezuela, bro. The way I'm seeing it, even if Mexico said they don't want to do a joint operation, the U.S. is still going to go in and do it. They already got their mind made up. He done said it too many times. And once this shit start, I feel like he going to try to eradicate all of them. So y'all let me know down below in the comments, especially people that's in Mexico. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? How do y'all see this playing out?
You can say goodbye to social media. So you probably know there's been a lot of talk about social media for the under 18s in the UK. There was a law passed in Australia a few months ago basically banning it for under 16s, and the UK were kind of looking into that. I spoke before about the Online Safety Act that was kind of like the first step in this, and then they're looking at obviously putting in screen time limits for certain apps and things. But in literally the last couple of hours today, it's come out that he's leaning more towards blocking this across the board, meaning that social media could be completely banned for under 16-year-olds with no way to access it. Obviously the question there still remains, well, what about VPNs and things like that? Because with the Online Safety Act, people found a way to get around that pretty damn quick. But there is a lot of people that agree with this and think this is a great idea because kids are staying up far into the night on their phones and they're missing school and things. But a lot of other people think this is a terrible idea, an invasion of freedom, and especially at 16, people should be able to have social media. Alongside with the switch on digital ID, meaning that's not mandatory anymore, people are very confused over what's going to happen with this whole social media and phone thing. So hit that follow button and I'll keep you updated.
Seekers, what do you guys think, man? Is that a good idea, bro? Banning social media for teens, I guess, under 16? it's a crazy world we live in now. So I don't know. People say that like violates their freedom, that they should be able to do that, but I guess, man, they just trying to protect the kids, bro. Trying to help them, man, not expose them to things that they're not supposed to be seeing. Because, you know, social media is a wild, wild place, man. It's the Wild West out there, bro. What do you think?
At this video from Mar-a-Lago, a party was hosted. It was Trump's party. And for some reason, people, I didn't know if this was something to do with furries, like what the Sam Dam's going on. Look, they're all wearing dog masks. It was some type of themed party, but it does remind me of the movie Eyes Wide Shut, when they're all wearing masks, and we know who directed that movie and what happened to him after. My question is, are these guys up to something and maybe hiding it in plain sight? Is there things that they know that we don't, or are they under some type of mass hypnosis, or perhaps some form of mind control? What the Sam Dam is this? You remember the movie I'm talking about? Highly controversial. Some say that some scenes were edited out from the final cut of this movie, and because apparently too much was shown. Did you know that? This movie, Eyes Wide Shut, there's a rumor that they had to edit it and take out significant parts of it, which exposed too much. Of course, the official narrative would be that they, didn't make the cut because they weren't quality enough. But if we know anything that this movie is about, it also reminds me of the movie They Live, when the guys escape Earth, end up in the mothership, and we have the aliens who are telling the humans that are working with them and the aliens that are pretending to be humans that we're almost there, and actually it was 2025 that they would have full control over Earth. If you watch the movie They Live, during that scene, he said 2025 we're going to have full control over Earth.
You're on the record talking about, quote, non-human life forms that could be interdimensional beings who are visiting us. Can you just explain more to people at home what that might mean?
Break it down.
Yeah, so that's definitely a mouthful, but that is directly based on information that we've received from witnesses, also information that we have obtained and witnessed via our investigations. There's some stuff that I can't disclose of what I have immediately seen in some of these skiffs, but what I will tell you is this is not just some crazy conspiracy theory. Obviously, there's been massive reporting, not just in the United States, but around the world. And this is something that I think everyone kind of, has always had some curiosity about. We're just simply asking the questions.
When we were talking to some of the witnesses, they don't call them extraterrestrial. They call them interdimensional. There's also this aspect of these things define physics as we... Weird.
You guys think about aliens walk among us, so they say they're not called extraterrestrials, they're called interdimensional beings? So that doesn't that mean they come from like a different universe? Is that what they're saying? My mind boggled right now, bro.
I'm in this room that I made. It's a Faraday room. It's all blocking all kinds of frequencies or whatever. I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat, but I'm pretty much in a tinfoil room, okay? I'm one of those weirdos. But I will let you know that while I was working on these chords, I was just sitting here, meditative, chilling. People that I haven't thought about for years started coming to me. And I was like thinking about these happy, wonderful thoughts. And then I opened the door and I went outside the room, which isn't Faraday at all. It's just a regular, whatever, house. And all of a sudden this thought came to me out of nowhere. And it's like, you want me to think about that? And I thought about it for a second, but wait a minute, where did that even come from? We're getting zapped with frequencies that are controlling our thoughts. This is how you get away from it right here.
The Earth's core is slowing down and getting ready for a reversal, and Earth's magnetic field is overdue for a magnetic flip. Now, what's more proof of this? Look this up. The fact that airlines have had to rewrite or recode the degree numbers on the runways, because all airplanes travel through different coordinates for runway so they can line with the runway properly, right? They have to align with the runway. And even in autopilot, they begin to create that alignment. The plane knows what it's supposed to do, and the pilots, of course, know what they're supposed to do. But because magnetic north has been moving, and planes fly based on magnetic north, not North Star, because they fly on magnetic north, they've had to rewrite the coordinates on runway so planes can make the proper alignment to land. Because if they didn't, planes would be crashing into the water, on other runways, not being able to land properly. This is how important this is.
The shit that Drewski did was unacceptable to the Christian community, but everybody else thought it was hilarious. And leave it up to the internet to find every reference that he referenced in that video that made people mad. Oh, you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit. So they was mad at the jacket, but somebody else had that jacket on, and they not mad at him? Okay. They was mad at him in the air. He walking in blood. But they not mad at him? Come on, man. Come on. Tell him.
We are raising funds
Listen.
for a project in Zimbabwe. Yes, we are trying to get
Listen.
preaching over in Africa. Amen. We wanted to raise $4 million for that.
Hold on.
But Lord said, I want to make a multi-millionaire
Oh,
out of
man.
someone, but they have to sow $10,000.
Oh, man.
What? He said they have to do that within 90 seconds.
What?
If you...
Listen to this one.
Yes. Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
And I'm going to put the last part in, just in case you ain't see it, because this is the part that got a lot of people upset. Reality. He's just a comedian. This is what comedians do. I'm like, look at this shit.
Praise the Lord.
I need some Christian life. Hey, come on, man. Hey, get your hands off my car. You gave tithes and offering? No. Shut the fuck up, man. What's wrong with you, man?
What do you think, man? Was it people? I know I'm about to say no. They said the Christian community were mad at Drewski for making that skit, but I mean, what? I can't believe the internet digged up videos of every reference that he did, and it was true. I mean, we saw it in just right now 4K. So I think he was like saying that towards the mega churches. I guess what they be doing, man. The one that got to me was saying you have to donate like $10,000 in like 90 seconds, and it's gonna make you a multi-millionaire. That was my first time seeing that, bro. That's actually mind blowing, bro. 10,000 in 90 seconds. Some people, man, regular people don't have that amount of money just ordered like that. That's probably some of their whole life savings. Has to be cat, bro.
People are flaming Kai Cenat for trying to read. So recently, Kai has been posting videos of him trying to read for some reason. And if you go look up the videos of him reading, I think it might actually be his first time ever trying to read. People in the comments are saying he can't read anything outside of donations. Now, because Kai isn't exactly the best reader, people are just memeing and flaming him completely. Basically talking about how he quit streaming for this, and just making fun of the timer that goes off in one of his videos reading. If you know, you know.
That's crazy, man. They hate on Kai.
So you're telling me that this whole time my gut and my brain have been secretly talking to each other without my permission, and that 90% of my serotonin, the happy chemical, is made in the gut? You motherfuckers. So all those times I felt anxiety, anxious, and tired monkey controlling me? Oh, wow. Now I understand. They are literally in cahoots, and the mind-body connection is real.
Yeah, I want to know why everybody is getting sick now, especially with the food. If you're a snacker and you love to eat snacks, you're going to watch this, y'all. This is beyond disturbing.
How they really make the snacks you eat every day? Once you learn about this process, you might never buy them again. First, illegal factories secretly collect expired products from supermarkets that should have been trashed. Then they open packages, dump expired snacks into huge grinders, and pulverize even rotten, moldy items. Next, they add flavors, preservatives, and dyes to mask the foul smell and look of spoiled food. Using molds, they shape the mixture to look like new snacks. They print fake production dates on packages and seal them to appear fresh. These snacks then end up in markets and stores. Customers, seeing low prices and bright colors, buy them unaware they're eating garbage.
Literally stretched their own skulls. Back in the 1500s, the Incas practiced something called cranial deformation. They would wrap string tightly around the newborn's heads so that their heads would stretch as they grew. This would cause them to have cone-shaped heads like the one seen here. And during these times, it wasn't considered a bad thing. This was considered a symbol of beauty according to their tribe.
Whoa, okay. What do you guys think about that?
Selfie before being struck by a train. In October of 2011, 15-year-old Essa Ricker, Kelsey Webster, and 13-year-old Savannah Webster waved at a westbound train crew as they were taking a selfie. As the three took the photo standing on the tracks, they had no idea that there was a train coming right at them. After they took their photo, they decided to post it on Facebook, and they captioned it saying, "Standing right by a train, ahaha, this is awesome." They were so preoccupied with the train track selfie that they had no idea that the train was literally right behind them. The conductor on the train, John Anderson, stated that the girls looked like they were completely in their own world. The engineer on the train blasted a horn to get the girls' attention, but they were oblivious and did not even flinch. Trains travel at 55 miles per hour, and they require more than a mile to come to a halt, and this is even after emergency brakes are applied. Once the train had gotten closer to the girls, it was approximately at 39 miles per hour.
Damn.
The train conductor and engineer tried to shout at the girls, but nothing worked. They observed the girls for about 12 seconds before they vanished from their view. About a quarter mile down, the train came to a halt, and John ran back to the girls. The first girl he saw showed no signs of life, and the second girl he saw had succumbed to the accident. John had located 13-year-old Savannah near the railroad crossing. She was injured and distressed, but she was still breathing. She was sent to a hospital in Salt Lake City, and doctors discovered that she had over a dozen broken bones, internally bleeding, blood clots, and a severe brain injury. Despite efforts to save her, she tragically passed away 3 days later after the incident.
Skinwalker caught on
Tragic.
camera.
Huh?
Whoa, whoa, run, 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 run! Go, 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 go.
What the hell is that?
What the hell?
The Jets.
I did. Oh my gosh. He's going to the basement. We gotta lock it. We gotta lock it now. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh my god! Yep, this doomsday clock is about to strike in 90
90 seconds, and when it hits midnight, that means civilization has reached its end, and it's our fault. Citizens were terrified to hear that our doomsday clock, created by a group of scientists led by Albert Einstein and Robert Oppenheimer, has just reached its end. In January 2023, during a haunting presentation, scientists unveiled the shocking state of the clock, and it was very bad. The 12-hour clock is not a normal clock, but was created to represent threat levels and how long until humanity destroys the world, midnight being the end. The clock has mostly remained hours away from midnight through history, even through many wars. But in 2020, with the onset of the pandemic, people were shocked when it was moved to 100 seconds. But now, only 3 years later in 2023, we are at 90 seconds, making it the closest it's ever been in recorded history. With the rise of deadly wars and mutant diseases, the climate crisis, and the rise of nuclear weapons all in 1 year, scientists are terrified, saying to brace for impact in 2024 as it may be the end of humanity as we know it. Given the state of the world this year, do you think it will be less than 60 seconds?
I really do believe.
What do you guys think, man? I didn't even know we had a freaking doomsday clock. And it's by Robert Einstein. By Einstein and Robert Oppenheimer. And it's that close. We're like teetering toward the edge, man. I don't like that at all.
Some people can be evil up to the point where they were even probably kids, y'all. This is the case of 4-year-old Derek Robbie. This happened in the 90s, and he was actually just walking to summer camp. His mom let him go by himself. I believe it was like 1 block away, and she let him walk there by himself for the very first time that day. Now, unfortunately, he did not make it to summer camp, and his remains were found in the nearby woods in between his house and the summer camp he was going to. Now, when they found his remains, they said that it appeared that he had been beaten with rocks and strangled, and that he had Kool-Aid poured all over his body, and unfortunately, he had also been SA'd with a stick. Now, when all this happened, they had brought this 13-year-old in for questioning because he had been acting very strange and going around and asking people very bizarre questions, such as how long, does it take for them to collect DNA evidence, and what if they find out that the unaliver was a kid?
Weird.
And also, when he was offered Kool-Aid during the interrogation process, he threw it all over the floor. He eventually ended up confessing to unaliving this poor 4-year-old baby because he had been being bullied by other kids at school, and he was very angry about this and wanted to let out his anger on someone else. Now, this is him now, and he actually has been released from prison since all this is happening just recently and let back into society. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it, but rest in peace to this poor baby.
Coincidences in history. This is Mary Ashford, and this is Barbara Forrest. Each of these women were strangled to death, and their bodies were found just 300 yards away from each other. They were both 20 years old at the time of their killings, and they shared the same birthday. On the night of their killings, both women had just got done visiting a friend, went home, changed into a new dress, and then had gone to a dance. And at this dance, they would both meet their eventual killers, who were both named Thorne. This is Abraham Thorne, the man who is presumed to have killed Mary Ashford. And this is Michael Thorne, the man who was presumed to have killed Barbara Forrest. Both these killings happened on May 27th. Mary Ashford died on May 27, 1817, and Barbara Forrest died on May 27, 1974, exactly 157 years after Mary Ashford. For more?
Do you know how long those things are like lining up? Like how many times?
Conspiracy theories, part 2. This one's really creepy. Alright guys, so you guys know how everyone said the world was going to end in 2012? What if it actually did and we're just all living in hell? Because I feel like everything in our world has just gotten progressively worse since then. Just something to think about.
Is you on to something?
The darkest conspiracy theories. The iPhone theory. An iPhone stands for I. It is also secretly listening to your conversations. What does Siri spell backwards? Siri backwards spells iris. And if you look at the Apple logo closely, it represents the first sin.
This
Disney just got completely exposed. Okay, so we all know how Disney is known for all their classic movies. Well, what if I told you every single one of these movies is a copy and paste of another one? Disney literally recycles animation from other movies and then change little things like characters and...
Whoa. That won't be the first time something like that happened. Damn, there's similarities. Maybe it drew inspiration, or do you think they just simply copied and pasted it to another movie? No, you saw the similarities.
Let me get a pair of twins. All right? They're born the same time, they're the same age. And now one of them I will send off at 90% the speed of light. And the other I'll keep down here on Earth. So we can ask, how does their aging rates compare? Okay? Turns out, this twin that I've already sent, his clock ticks 44% as fast as this twin's clock, our clock, here on Earth. So, this twin is aging more slowly than this one. That's at 90% the speed of light. Let's pump it up some more. How about 99% the speed of light? Now the time ticks at only 14% the rate, as it does back here on Earth. How about 99.9%? We're getting closer and closer to the speed of light itself. And at that speed, the clock ticks only 4.5% as fast. So, what does this mean? Tell you what it means. This twin that traveled for 5 years and comes back, if they went at 99.9% the speed of light, after 5 years, they're 5 years older. We have aged 110 years.
Damn.
It's called the twin paradox.
This isn't an animal video, but I feel like not enough people know this, and I honestly have nothing better to do. So I was going back and forth with one of my friends, and we were insulting each other the way only real friends can. And she would say, at least I got 2 functional knees, so I said, at least I got 2 functional parents. You know, cute stuff like that. And she was like, at least my nipples work. I could not tell you where that flex came from, but fun fact. Men actually can produce milk, and it happens more often than you think. Men's nipples are fully functional, it's just that they get suppressed by male hormones. And the hormone responsible for making milk is prolactin, and the production of prolactin is controlled by dopamine and estrogen. Basically, these hormones send a message to the pituitary gland and tell it to either stop or continue releasing prolactin. But sometimes a hormone malfunction can cause men to lactate. Weirdest example I can think of is back in World War II. When prisoners of war ate a full meal after being starved for months, their hormones shot up faster than their liver could keep up with, causing them to spontaneously lactate. Also, if your pituitary gland forgets that it's not supposed to release prolactin, you can end up dripping Nesquik too. In really rare cases, nipple stimulation while holding a baby was enough to cause lactation in some men. But also there's a chance it means you have a tumor. So yeah, men can produce milk, and I can't produce a healthy way to explain my...
I didn't even know that was possible. These things, when we watch these clips, tap in with us. You're gonna learn some new things. It's gonna blow your mind away. I always thought that was a myth.
Here's some of the biggest movie mistakes you never noticed. In the movie American Sniper, in this scene, they replaced the baby with a literal doll. And if you look closely, you'll see Bradley Cooper moving the doll's hand with his thumb to make it appear more real. But that doll isn't fooling anyone. Next, in Harry Potter in the Chamber of Secrets, in this scene where Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy battle, if you look closely, you can see a cameraman watching the fight who's obviously not supposed to be there. Next, in the movie Jurassic Park, in this scene where 2 raptors enter the kitchen, when it cuts to the next shot, you can actually see a human hand pushing the dinosaur. Apparently, a crew member was trying to keep the balance of the model dinosaur, but no one noticed, and it slipped through editing and made the final movie. So in Thor: The Dark World, Thor very casually and politely hangs his hammer up on the coat rack. which wasn't in the script and sparked a huge debate online about whether the coat rack is worthy. Now in Harry Potter, Severus Snape tells Harry that he has the eyes of his mother, but the problem with that is his mother has brown eyes and he has blue eyes. And in Jason Bourne, in this scene, he's supposed to disappear into the surrounding city, and at first glance it looks like he does. But if you look closely, as this little car passes him, you can see his bright red jacket and his feet try to hide behind it.
Here are some of the most random fun facts you will ever hear in your life. Armadillo shells are actually bulletproof. One time a man was hospitalized when he shot at an armadillo and the bullet ricocheted off the shell and hit him instead. There's only one letter in the entire alphabet that isn't in any US state name, and that letter is Q. There's not a single state with the letter Q in its name. 71% of the earth is covered in water, and humans can only use 0.007% of that water. 2.5% of the total water is fresh water, and only 1% of that is actually accessible. The bumblebee bat is the smallest mammal in the entire world. These things can rest on your fingertips and you might not even know because they weigh 0.05 to 0.07 ounces. Ostriches are the world's largest and heaviest living bird. It's why they can't fly, but they are built for running, and they can reach speeds of up to 43 miles per hour, and they can pretty easily coast at 30 miles per hour. The longest English word is 189,819,000 letters long. It's a protein and its nickname is titin, and it would take around 3.5 hours to say the word out loud.
Okay, what the hell is that word? See, because if anybody can find it, put it down below, man. I gotta see that.
5 crazy shark facts you'll never believe. Number 1, they have teeth all over their body. They're actually called dermal denticles, and some sharks even have teeth over their eyes, such as the whale shark. It's what gives them that sandpaper type of texture. Number 2, some sharks can live a seriously long time. The Greenland shark, for instance, can live for over 500 years. Their flesh is also toxic, and they're the slowest shark on record and almost the same size as the great white. Number 3, they can go on some seriously crazy diets. Basically, the great white shark cannot eat for up to 12 months. They can actually survive off of fatty oil stored inside their body. 4, they can literally sense electricity. That is one of the shark's amazing superpowers, and they can detect electromagnetic fields in the water using a specialized organ called the ampullae of Lorenzini, which are gel-filled pores all around their nose. 5, some sharks have 360-degree vision, or at least the hammerhead shark does. It's pretty crazy, but these guys have eyes that are so far apart, yet they can still create one whole image, which gives them a 360 viewpoint.
They got the Byakugan, bro.
P-Facts I bet you didn't know, part 1. Your lips and anus are connected by the same tube. 90% of serial killers choose their victims by sexual desire. Your organs move freely around your body. Crows used to follow armies to feed on dead bodies. Human sacrifice was a real thing in Aztec Mexico.
What the hell? What do you know?
Easily one of the most shocking creatures in the world. Literally. Meet the electric ray. It's like a regular stingray except with the powers of Thor. They're electrical hunters with no predators and a shock strong enough to knock out a human. But the crazy part is the way they hunt. What they do is they go and swim above their prey and wrap their fins around, creating this tunnel. And then they just start electrocuting with 200 volts from every single direction. And it's not just one shot. They will electrocute their prey up to 500 times in the matter of seconds. And according to scientists, they can unload a kilowatt of energy in one attack. Thor, come get your friends. But the cherry on top is the fact that they can also use their electricity for electroreception, which means you can't hide from them. They can sense the whereabouts of any creature by detecting their electrical pulses. In other words, they're superheroes. Moral of the story, if you're ever in the ocean, I recommend staying away from swimming tasers. And as always, follow for more facts.
I'm staying away from them, bro. Talk about what a pet it. You're just gonna get shocked. Looks like they're worse than stingrays, bro. 10 times worse. Edit.
These are scary cartoon truths that would terrify you, part 10. Okay, so Hello Kitty was created back in the 1970s by a Chinese woman whose daughter had cancer. The doctors told the mother there was nothing she could do, and her daughter will die. The mother then went to every church and prayed for her daughter, but none of it worked. The mother then became very desperate and turned to devil worshipping and satanic rituals. She then made a pact with the devil himself. But if the devil cured her daughter's cancer, he wanted one thing in return. He wanted her to create a cartoon character to appeal to children all over the world and to trick people into worshipping the devil. And when her daughter recovered from cancer, she kept her promise and created Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty has no mouth because her daughter had mouth cancer. Her pointy ears represent the devil's horns. The word kitty means demon in Chinese, so Hello Kitty actually means hello demon.
What do you guys think about that one, man? I'm telling you, I said this, the media and stuff, be consuming all these, you know, high profile brands, they would be based on some dark stories. Hello,
There's an
demon.
active serial killing group in Austin, Texas. I've been seeing videos all over my For You page talking about the Smile murders, and I'm going to be honest, this is absolutely terrifying. From what I understand, the Smile murders are either a group of people or a singular person leaving this tagline after unaliving someone. This just looks like a normal takeout bag near the lake sitting on a tree. Well, what was found underneath it is absolutely terrifying. It is, yes, an unalived person near the lakeside. Now, the two craziest parts to me is the target is younger men. The second part is that there's been 12 bodies found since 2022 at Lady Bird Lake. And alone this year, there's been already 3. You're probably thinking to yourself, Chris, well, can you go swimming in Lady Bird Lake? Are they drowning? Because that's been the cause of death of most of these people. No, you can't. There's poisonous algae in there. Meaning that if you go swimming in there, you're probably cooked. Now, if you don't believe me, this is the timeline in the area that people are found. On top of that, it seems like people are mostly coming from Rainer Street. From what I've heard and what I understand is the hot spot in Austin, where they have all the bars and it's just like a massive strip. This has been a conspiracy for a long time that there's a group of people unaliving others. But not only in Austin. There's been things in Manchester, there's been things in Boston. But a lot of people are thinking that it's just an organized group, unaliving people and leaving this smiley tagline. Well, and all this is just absolutely terrifying. If you're in the area, stay safe.
This case is exactly why
national news.
Rugs, y'all. This is the case of Carly Lucé, and I want to say this happened back in 2013. So she actually disappeared on October 13th, and she was a big fan of scary movies and things of that nature. And when she ended up disappearing, she snuck out to go to her boyfriend's house, and during that time, they had taken some type of unknown rug. Now, when she had got back home, she had called her stepmom to come pick her up. She was obviously very paranoid, and her mother recorded her, and there is audio recording that I will attach to the end of this video. Now, during this recording, the stepmom thought that it would be a good idea to do this. I don't know why, instead of take her to the hospital so that the next day she could show her this video, and hopefully she won't do these rugs again. Unfortunately, that is not what happened, and according to what I looked into, she ended up, while her parents were asleep, leaving the house and just walking and wandering around the forest and the woods. And she had been spotted that evening, and according to what I looked into, a couple years later, she was spotted again by some bikers, but that wasn't 100% certain if it was her. Now, since then, she has not been spotted, but the crazy thing is her dad was arrested for DV charges, and was charged with those. So according to what I looked into, that is the latest update I have seen on this case, and she has not been seen since then. I just think it's very bizarre that the first thing you're going to do is when you see your child acting paranoid, you're going to record them. I'm going to attach the footage to the end of this.
Do you want to take a shower? Think I'll make you feel better? I'm eating the devil's lettuce. You're eating lettuce that I just freshly chopped that I bought from the grocery store. I don't know why. Why are you eating the devil's lettuce? Because I'm just thinking all these demonic stuff and I can't help it. You're okay. Do you want to call them? Why are you looking like that? No, you just said you wouldn't. Would you call them?
There's a horrific murder case that's happening right now out of Arizona that's still unsolved. Let's talk about what happened to Mercedes Vega. On April 16th of this year, Mercedes was abducted from the parking garage of her Tempe, Arizona apartment and brutally killed. That night, security footage shows her walking into her apartment's parking garage a little after 9 p.m. She was on her way to meet her friends and have a fun night at Dave & Buster's, but in this footage, she had no idea what was about to happen to her. Sometime before making it to her car, she was attacked and taken by at least 2 people, and the details that follow are still a mystery. A little after 1 a.m. the next morning, the Department of Public Safety was called in to investigate a car that was on fire along the side of Interstate 10 in Tonopah. Upon arriving to the scene, they found Mercedes' burned body in the back seat, and she was deceased. In the last few hours of her life, she was tortured, and according to the medical examiner, she had been shot in the arm, had blunt force trauma to her head, and had traces of bleach in her throat. But all of this did not kill her. She ultimately died from smoke inhalation while being burned alive in that car. Investigators also found gloves and bleach in the front seat and lighter fluid in the back, but there are still a ton of questions that remain in this case, and nothing about this makes any sense. The car that Mercedes was found in was not her car. Her car, which was a 2019 Dodge Charger, was found abandoned near Mill Avenue in Tempe. She was not burned in her own vehicle, and so far, investigators still don't know who the car she was found in belongs to. One of the big questions in this case is how did her car get from her apartment to where it was found? And who drove the other car to Tonopah? Mercedes' parents believe that this was a targeted attack and that death wasn't the ultimate goal, but that Mercedes fought back, which resulted in her death. Her parents mentioned that she danced at a club 2 nights a week, and many question if her death could possibly be connected back to someone she met while at work. It's now been 7 months, and Mercedes' murder is still unsolved. Whoever committed this vicious attack is still out there. Right now, there is a silent witness award of up to $2,000 for information leading to an arrest. But if you'd like to donate to up that reward or to report a tip, please contact the number on the screen. For more information on this case and to show your support, please follow this account that was created for Mercedes that's run by her family. She and her family deserve justice.
In the world right now. 2/3 of America now says that a 4-year college degree is not worth the cost. A Turkish court ruled that social media likes can be considered a breach of trust, specifically in divorce cases. A new study shows that living in the United States as a single adult with no children requires $106,745 per year before taxes to live comfortably. Campbell's Soup, that company, they put one of their executives on a leave recently because apparently in a recorded meeting he was talking about how their product is for poor people. Detroit has launched the first road that charges electric vehicles while driving on it. It only goes for 1/4 of a mile, but it's the beginning of what the future is probably going to look like. This is a video of the world's 2nd largest diamond ever found recently going into the hands of the Botswana president. 65% of users on dating apps are married or in a relationship, according to a recent report. What are we doing? What the?
Look at the guard's key and instantly memorize the pattern. Then he would file a piece of scrap metal into the exact same shape and let himself out of prison. You see, as an autistic child, he had a special talent for mechanics, and when his father died, he left his tools to him. But his stepmother called the police, since the will hadn't been read yet. He was sentenced to 4 years, but after just a month, he climbed over the razor wire fence and ran. Now this added more time to his sentence, as well as solitary confinement. But once he was back in his cell, he used a makeshift saw to cut through the bars. Another time, he made a zip gun from a tube of toothpaste, pointing it at the prison guards as he ran. And after 13 escape attempts, his sentence stretched to 34 years, with 27 of those spent in solitary confinement. And even though people have protested, he's still in prison to this day.
That's nice. What in the freaking MacGyver did we just watch, bro? Making makeshift freaking saws. That little thing with a toothpaste tube, bro. How is he doing it, bro? That's crazy, man.
Over 130,000 people lost power in San Francisco. This is the map of San Francisco. And those red areas right there is where everybody lost power. So as you can see, this wasn't a small outage. This was a very big outage. Look at this shit. Everywhere, even on Market Street.
Dark Ages.
It's crazy. Oh, this looks sick. Oh, this looks sick. When the power stops, everything stops. You had people stuck in elevators. Traffic signal wasn't working. As you can see the traffic right there. Now you ask yourself, how could some shit like this happen? You have robot taxis just stopping in the middle of the street. And when I mean stopping, I mean no movement at all. Now they're saying that this massive outage started from a fire. And after that fire, do you see how fast that escalated? But think about this. If that can happen in San Francisco, California, Where else can it happen at? Because if you do your research, San Francisco is one of the most advanced cities in the world. I need you to let that sink in. This much of San Francisco was dark last night. If it can happen there, it can happen anywhere.
Is this not weird to y'all?
Wow.
In the Drake and Josh movie that came out, 15 years ago, their Christmas movie, in the background, you know how there's Victoria's secret? Well, there's Snyder's secrets. Yeah, like this Snyder. This is disgusting to me because they'll tell us the truth every single time. You just gotta look for it. But because we're kids, we don't notice until we get older. Snyder's secrets. Yes, bro, like we know a lot of your secrets. We don't know all of them, but we know a lot of them. I find this very distasteful because while we trying to expose the Epstein files, we need to expose the Dan Snyder files because I'm pretty sure he's probably on that list. But he's also have his own list, his Nickelodeon list. Those of you who do not find this insane to me, I don't know if somebody was trying to tell on him or if it was like, ha 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 ha, no one's gonna notice. This is strange, like no matter how you view it. The reason why it's strange is because he has so many secrets and so many things he's done to so many people. Let me just give you guys some screenshots. Yeah, like you want disturbing? I'll give you disturbing. Where's the Snyder files? Yes, and I can just keep going. Weird. Her chin is touching his face, and why is he creepy, right? I mean, we already know about, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and then she already wrote a book, and she's already exposed him. And so I think there needs to be a petition to open up Snyder's files, okay? And Snyder's secrets.
Why your birth order actually really matters. So the following is part 3 of a 4-part series determining which is the superior sibling. Okay, always research. Lastborns generally aren't the strongest or the smartest in the room, so they develop their own ways of winning attention. They're natural charmers with an outgoing and social personality. No surprise then that many famous actors and comedians are babies of the family. Youngest children do, however, tend to have the lowest IQs, as a 2007 study showed that the more older siblings one has, the lower one's IQ is. And I'm the youngest of 10. Not ideal. Youngest children generally also receive the least discipline and get away with a lot more, leading them to engage in riskier behavior and go into higher risk, more creative careers. Also, just a warning, but according to psychologist Kevin Lehman in his book, couples consisting of 2 lastborns are also the most likely to get into debt. And the series finale comes tomorrow, and we're looking at you, only children.
Kim Kardashian, this costume is fire. You know exactly what this is. Oh, you don't know? You don't know?
Tillian.
What's next? What you gonna be next Halloween? You see it. I don't even gotta say nothing. Well, I already said something. It's getting crazy, guys. 2024. Get ready. Why? Oh, we know why. TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm only showing Kim Kardashian's Halloween costume. That's all I did. Everybody seems to like this. Oh, so you're not ever gonna hide anymore, huh? Gotcha. Real detailed. Not bad at all. I'm getting kind of scared looking at this. I don't know, guys. You let me know what you think. I don't even know when's the last time I dressed up for Halloween. Wow, they did a great job with this. I tell you that much. This looks really real. It's not real. Day after day, they keep showing us. And you people don't want to see it. Why? Because there's nothing to see here. It's just a costume. Very interesting. Get ready. The clock is ticking. I'm out of here.
You know, Eddie Clinton had a costume like that this year, bro. I'm trying to, bro. One of my freaking the conspiracy theories I got going around in my head, man. They wear those costumes, bro, to just, I guess, to get the public more used to it. So somebody could walk around in a freaking reptilian suit costume, bro. You couldn't. What happens if they was like legit a real reptilian, man? But because we be seeing so many people wear those costumes on Halloween, man, people just brush it off, bro. They just say, that's just a costume, bro. You never know, man. Hey.
Dangerous are truly those jungles. Average man gets dropped in the jungle.
You're dead.
Really?
You're dead.
Really?
If you get dropped far enough into the jungle, you're dead.
What's killing you first?
You'll get lost. You get turned around in the Amazon. Everything looks the same. It's not like here where you have big trees and small trees and landmarks. In the Amazon, everything looks the same, and everything wants to eat you. I mean, even the bees are carnivorous in the Amazon. What? The bees were one of the worst torments for me. And I enjoyed being in the Amazon, by the way. I was there by choice. But mosquitoes were always a nuisance. The bees were worse because I would have like a cut on my arm. I'd always have some open wound. I had this open wound on my arm. And during the day, the bees come. And the bees will land on your arm. And they're these little bees. And they will yank at your flesh. Like they'll bite off a piece and yank it off. What? So you constantly have bees pulling little pieces of your open wound away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it was, and they also sting you, but sting isn't really bad. They're like miniature.
Yeah, they're eating your flesh off. That sounds.
That drove me crazy. Everything wants to eat you in the Amazon.
Hey, fool, I know they not happy with Nicki Minaj right now. I know everybody was looking at her sideways when she was on the stage with Erica Kurt and she did a little event for JD Vance. But did she just expose something? Y'all see her face? It's because of what she said about JD Vance. Fool, she real live called this man an assassin. And then after that, she put her hand over her mouth. Like she knew she fucked up. Like, damn, I really say that? And then she just completely stopped talking for like a couple minutes. And then Erica Kirk tried to console her. Y'all, look at this video.
You have amazing role models like the assassin JD Vance, our vice president. And when I say that,
he assassin?
Trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine. Yes, we did.
Hey, fool. Y'all, she went even longer without talking. This shit wild, fool. Why did Nicki feel as if she needed to cover her mouth and not say nothing else because she said assassin? Do she know something we don't know?
The theory for Home Alone 1. So the whole movie is actually an allegory for Christianity. And Jesus is actually in the movie. Remember the really creepy old man in the movie? That's actually supposed to be Jesus the whole time. Remember the first time he shows up?
In the house, right?
No, it was at a store.
Oh,
and he's buying things at the store. And he notices he has a bandage on his hand and he's bleeding, right?
Yeah.
It's bleeding from the top with the bandage.
Okay.
Later, when Kevin is running away from the burglars, and then where he's running to, he runs into a church. He runs into a church, right? And then remember the burglars go, oh, I don't like that. It's because they feel the presence of God. Now, when he walks in there, the script itself, if you read the Home Alone script, it says Kevin walks in and he realized the Spirit of God is there.
Oh, that is?
Yeah, in the script. Oh. That was like the emotion they were trying to play off on the scene. He sits down in the pews, and guess who sits beside him?
The old man?
The old man, yeah. But this time you see his hand facing this way. And what is it? It's the bandage and the blood is in the middle.
Okay.
Just like when Jesus had the nail through his hand.
Insane.
So it shows that it went through both sides, fam. Now at the end of the movie, what happened? When he couldn't take on the burglars by himself, who saved him?
It was the old man, right?
It was the old man that saved him when he couldn't do it himself and sacrifice himself to save.
Swiss church just
I didn't even
installed
think
an
about
AI
that.
Jesus, and 1,000 people spoke to it for guidance. This was called Deus in Machina, an art and research project in one of Switzerland's oldest churches in Lucerne. Visitors could speak about faith, doubt, grief, love, or everyday worries, and get real-time responses from an AI avatar trained on religious texts. Some people found the experience thoughtful and reflective, appreciating the non-judgmental space and immediate availability without needing appointments. But others said the answers felt superficial and lacked the emotional depth and genuine empathy that comes from human clergy. The church made clear this was not real confession and would never replace actual priests, but it raises a critical question. Can AI provide meaningful spiritual guidance, or is something essential missing when algorithms replace human connection? This addresses a real problem since there's a global clergy shortage with overworked religious leaders who can't meet all parishioner needs. AI offers 24/7 availability in multiple languages with no geographic limitations. But the risks are serious. Intimate confessions could be recorded and exploited. AI might give theologically incorrect or harmful advice. And there's economic pressure to replace expensive human clergy with cheap AI, creating a two-tier system where wealthy people get humans and poor people get algorithms. This experiment succeeded as research by forcing us to grapple with hard questions about authenticity. But as a solution to spiritual needs, it falls short because technology can't replace genuine human empathy and pastoral relationships in sacred contexts. If you enjoyed this, drop a like and comment below. Follow for more stories like this.
Confessing to an AI, that's a diabolical path, man, that we're going down, bro. That means you're putting your faith in your religion into a machine, like you said, that's just gonna be fed by algorithm. The fact that, like I said, I could kind of see what he said wealthy people, they would get the actual humans, and he said the poor people would get the machine, bro. Because you know everything in this world, bro, comes with a price, man. Somebody can find a way to make money off something, it's gonna be done. I feel like that's a dark path we're going down on, bro. We shouldn't be using AI like that at all.
This guy's going viral right now for asking MrBeast how many likes that he needs to get on a TikTok video for him to be in a MrBeast video. And it looks like he is actually going to reach his goal. So this dude tracked down MrBeast right after MrBeast was done filming. But this is where it gets more worser. He approached MrBeast's car to be in a MrBeast video. And this is where it gets so much more insaner. MrBeast initially said 1 billion likes. And there's only been one video on TikTok ever with over 1 billion likes. And MrBeast decided to be generous. He lowered the amount of likes the kid needed down to 100 million. But 100 million likes has only happened like 6 or 7 times. And MrBeast finally caved. He finally lowered the amount of likes that kid needs down to 10 million likes on that post. And this is where it gets even more insaner. This kid might actually make it. Because after the first 24 hours, he already has 30 million views and 7.9 million likes. MrBeast even commented, "Follow and I'll keep you updated. Do you think he'll hit 10 million likes?"
This has reached a whole new level of law. Why are they trying to plant Michael Jackson in the Epstein files? They've included this photo blurring out what seems to be a minor and making it look very dodgy. I tell you what's dodgy is the fact that the original photo is very traceable on Google, so they need to sack their Photoshop expert. Photo was taken in 2003 at a Democrat party for a fundraiser with his own children. Unblanked out, the original, you can actually see Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, and his children. But they have actually photoshopped the children at the front to make it look like one child in the photo and blanked it out because it's a minor. Second photo they've included, clearly to try and back up the last one, is obviously Michael Jackson and Jeffrey Epstein. The photo is also heavily accessible on Google, and it was taken in Palm Beach because Michael Jackson was buying a property. Do they not understand that people are digging into these photos? So these stupid errors are going to be found out. Nothing surprises me anymore, but even this is pretty low from the elites.
Like when I was doctoring photos, what the hell? Because when the Epstein file released, and I saw a couple of pictures floating around, but I didn't know they was edited. Man, the Epstein files, bro, you're going down that rabbit hole. It's just gonna make your brain hurt, bro.
Jail, I got to the point of learning how to astral project. I got into the point of learning how to meditate. I got into the point of learning how to see which energies I'm using in my body. I got into the point of knowing all of that shit. I'm like and this is just something that's available to anybody. I'm not saying I'm putting everybody on beat that should practice this shit because, but I don't think it's fucking fair that nobody's getting a chance because they don't know this shit. Pay attention to that shit. You are the key. You are the key. Nothing else is the key. The law of attraction at its finest will always work with the human mind. Anything you want, you can attract. You are the key. You can be more successful than I am. You may have more energy than I do. I am nothing special. Use your brain. Attract what you want. Believe in yourself. You are capable. That alone is the key to success.
What do you think happens after you die?
If you didn't get it right, you're gonna come back.
I thought this was the only owl in Bohemian Grove, but I was wrong. Before I show you the second owl, you need to understand that everything we heard about Bohemian Grove was a lie.
There were 32 camps.
The Hillbillies, they're the biggest one, right?
The band was the biggest.
The band.
When I found the secret documents about Bohemian Grove that are only for the Grove members, the biggest camp is Aviary Camp. It has 116 members. The band camp has only 68 members, and there are 120 camps according. Now check this. The new production facility is partially built into the hillside to reduce the space those functions took on the stage floor. If we look at the map, the hillside is here, so definitely the stage of the owl is somewhere in this area. However, our hero dancer one pissed on the owl in this area, and this new owl looks small compared to the old one. They were working on the Grove project since 2017, and the project was completed in July 2021, and they are expecting that would make this stage be effective for at least another 50 years.
So as of late,
People who have been eating Chick-fil-A are saying that they are experiencing severe stomach pain, nausea, and digestive issues. Y'all don't understand, the food is not the same anymore. And it's not just one person. I've seen multiple testimonies of people saying the same thing. This is crazy, y'all. They're really messing with our livelihood.
Eating Chick-fil-A in like the last 6 months to a year, has it been hitting your stomach differently? I feel like my wife and I's stomach has been torn up, and it didn't used to be like that. But it is now consistently a problem every time we go. So it's like we can't even eat there anymore.
You seen Buddy's eyes? But this been going on for a year, y'all?
PSA, y'all better stop eating that Chick-fil-A, okay? People are getting sick. It's making y'all sick. There's something in that chicken. Chick-fil-A chicken is making y'all sick. You're going to be sitting up throwing up. Chick-fil-A, something is wrong with it right now. In the last 3 or 4 days, numerous of people have been getting sick, and the only common denominator is Chick-fil-A. When are we going to admit that Chick-fil-A is now nasty? The chicken doesn't taste the same. It's nasty. I got a grilled chicken sandwich for the first time a couple weeks ago because it was free. I got a reward. Mind you, I tried this chicken sandwich years ago because my mom and my sister loved the sandwich. I tasted theirs. It was good. Now it tastes disgusting. I really believe they're using fake meat now.
Chick-fil-A has changed their chicken, so it's disgusting. I thought Chick-fil-A's chicken made me feel sick. I took one bite of the sandwich, and I'm not kidding you. I sat in line for about 50 minutes, which was like so not like Chick-fil-A, only to get this sandwich that tasted like rat meat, literal rat meat. What is going on? It was disgusting. I almost threw up. Not to be dramatic, but you know, I really don't want to sit and complain about something like this, but what is going on with Chick-fil-A, y'all?
Welcome to Chick-fil-A, home of the original chicken sandwich. Why don't you come inside and I will show you around. Our experience starts here with the cashier. We have them trained to be the nicest so everyone feels good when ordering.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Here she is in all of her glory, the original chicken sandwich. Over 50 ingredients created right here in our Chick-fil-A labs. It all starts with the chicken, the most important part. We've perfected the LGC, lab-grown chicken. So the trick is to take a little bit of DNA from this little guy here, and then we put it in some dishes to grow little guys like these. Pretty cool, right?
No.
Once fully grown, we give them their special blend shot that gets them ready for you, our blessed customers. How did you think we had enough chicken for all of you people? Eat more chicken.
You know, I always did find it weird that a cow specialty was cooking chicken. But yeah, y'all, they're telling you right in your faces. With fast food going down, there's no way you should be eating these places, y'all. The shit is here. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's get it.
The world's freakiest sea animals.
Okay.
In July 2022, people in Chile gathered around to see what a fishing boat caught off their shore. The creature was 16 feet long, and the video got 20 million views when it was posted online. Because people were debating whether or not this was an actual sea monster. But I'm sad to say it's not. This is an oarfish, a fish that typically lives about 3,000 feet below the surface. Next, at Laguna Beach in May 2021, people were shocked when they saw a terrifying football-looking fish washed up on the shore. This was a Pacific football fish, a fish that usually lives 3,000 feet under the surface. Basically, remember that terrifying light bulb fish from Finding Nemo?
Yep.
That's this guy. They're actually so rare that even marine biologists know very little about this species and what causes them to wash up on shores. And in 2022, a fisherman named Sean Bailey was sailing around off the coast of San Diego when he spotted a weird ghost-looking creature floating on the surface of the water. But after a few minutes, it started moving again because it was just sunbathing. This is a mola mola, or an ocean sunfish. These fish live 660 feet below the ocean surface and prey on jellyfish, and then warm up by sunbathing on top of the surface. And this allows seagulls to eat the parasites off its body. So for them, it's kind of like a free trip to the spa.
These villagers dig up their dead family members every 3 years, and you won't believe why. These people are from a village in Indonesia, and during their Manim festival, they get their ancestors' corpses, clean them, and put them all out to dry, and dress them in new clothes as a ritual. And the reason is because they believe they're showing them love and respect.
This is why you should be scared of mirrors. Reddit user Liberated Man said that when he was about 12 years old, he woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. He walked across the hall to the bathroom, hit the lights, and was about to reach for the toilet when he glanced up and saw face in the mirror. It wasn't his face. He said that it was as if someone was on the other side, standing to the right, with their face right next to the glass, staring at him. He only saw it for the briefest moment, but it seared into his brain. He screamed and ran out to find his dad. His dad, of course, investigated and then calmed him down, or tried to. They had a prayer session because he was so freaked out. Eventually, he went back to sleep. He said that fast forward to his 30s, he had forgotten all about the event until one night, while visiting, his dad quietly brings it up. He said, "Remember that one time you saw a face in the mirror?" It suddenly came back to him in a rush of a memory, sending a chill down his spine. He said, "Yeah, I remember." And then his dad said, "Well, sometimes I think about that night." He looked down at the floor with a serious expression, and then he said, "I saw it too." He went on to describe exactly what Reddit user Liberated Man had seen. Neither of them have any idea what it was. Apparently, when his dad went to investigate, he saw it and had a freak out of his own. And the prayer session was as much for his own nerves as it was his son's.
So they both saw the same thing. So they weren't tripping there. And a Reddit user saw the same thing too, so maybe those two stories are linked. It's a creepy rabbit hole you gotta get into. That's an edit, man. Call them out.
Yeah! Scientists just did something you are not going to appreciate. Trust me, you're gonna want to favor this video because this could be the start of something horrendous. Because they thought today was a brilliant day to cut open 200 million year old parasitic eggs that they found in fossilized feces. You know, dinosaur shit. They found one of the earliest predators were infested with roundworm, otherwise known as nematodes, and other parasites. I feel like I shouldn't need to say this. Don't fucking do that! I swear after 2020 we've learned nothing! And this hasn't come long after scientists revived a previously extinct ancient worm. But don't worry, that's another horror for another day. I'll be the first to say it, I do feel like we're opening Pandora's box. We revive an ancient parasite out of the good of our hearts and then it gets out of control and destroys the world. These are the parasite samples, by the way, if you wanted to see them. They are being called Morphotype 4. Bear in mind, we are nervous about permafrost melting and releasing ancient pathogens and diseases into our worlds. And now we're willingly sawing open dinosaur shit that includes a parasite. I mean, does 1 + 1 = 5? Personally, I'm not a fan of this one, so send this to a friend because they need to know what's going on. I'm terrified. Forbidden places.
Why would we even do that, bro? With all that's going on in the world right now, we think that's a good idea to examine some parasites that probably went extinct a million years ago because it was in dinosaur crap. Now we're trying to reintroduce it. It's just gonna decimate the ecosystem, man. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why?
Is that you can never visit. Snake Island is an island off of the coast of Brazil, filled with deadly snakes. Rising sea levels cause this piece of land to become an island, allowing for the snakes to flourish in their own environment. There are now up to 5 snakes every square meter, and you are not allowed to go here. In Svalbard, Norway, there is a global seed vault, aka the Doomsday Vault. It is the world's seed bank, storing samples of crops from all over the world just in case of a global catastrophe. The tomb of Qin Shi Huang in China holds an army of warriors made of clay. It protects the burial spot of the first emperor of China who died in 210 BC, and we only discovered this tomb in 1974. Paveglia Island in Italy was used to exile hundreds of thousands of victims of the plague. It is said to be one of the most haunted places on Earth, and a dark local legend says that 50% of the soil is made up of human remains. Follow for more.
Don't go there, bro. Most haunted place in the world.
Was this the worst form of medieval punishment? If you found yourself as a prisoner in a medieval castle, you may be subject to the dungeon, torture, or even execution. But what could be worse? Well, let me tell you about the oubliette, also known as the Forgotten Room. This was a specialized type of prison in some medieval castles, perhaps for the worst of offenders. It was a narrow shaft, sometimes 8 feet deep, with only one entrance and exit, a trapdoor located on the ceiling. The shaft being so narrow that the individual would be forced to stand. They couldn't kneel, they couldn't sit, they could barely turn around. To fall alone into the oubliette would sometimes break bones. In some cases, these would even be built into the upper walls of the castle, so the victim could hear the hustle and bustle of castle life but could not escape. Depending on the situation or individual, they might throw you some food and water if you were to be kept alive. In most cases, you were subject to stand there, starve to death, and then be devoured by vermin. The most you could do was stand there, look up at the grate, and realize you cannot escape. Oh yeah, did I also mention sometimes jagged stones would be placed at the bottom? And of course, you were also subject to stand in your own waste. Lep Castle, which is located in Ireland, had quite an active oubliette. So many skeletons were discovered in one in the 1920s that it took 3 cartloads to transport them off the property. Between the sleep deprivation, the starvation, the psychological torture, and the claustrophobia, I think this is the worst form of medieval torture.
Definitely up there, man. You just standing. Say can't bend, can't do anything. Up street all that time. That's insane. It's another edit, man. Like I said, if you guys see any edits, call them out too. We learning together.
Facts that I wish I didn't know. When you die, the last thing to go is your hearing. So as all your other mortal sensations are leaving this world, the last thing you're ever going to experience are the sounds going on around you, which very well could be like your family members crying or cheering. By the year 2050, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish. When pigs get a cold, like a cough, very often they will shoot their intestines out of their anus, and farmers have to, like, stuff it back in.
Never knew that. What the hell, pigs?
Fun fact, Michel Lotito, aka Mr. Eats Everything, was a French performance artist who once ate an entire Cessna 150 airplane. Holding the Guinness World Record for strangest diet, Michel first became aware of his strange affliction when he was 9 years old, and the glass he was drinking from broke, and he began chewing on the broken glass fragments and liked them. Throughout the course of his life, he consumed 8 bicycles, 15 supermarket trolleys, 7 TV sets, 6 chandeliers, 2 beds, also a waterbed full of water, a pair of skis, a coffin, 1,600 feet of steel chain, a ton of random stuff like glasses, plates, and razor blades, and of course, a Cessna 150 airplane. He began eating the plane in 1978 and spent 2 years consuming it bite by bite, cutting the plane into edible pieces about 1 to 2 centimeters long until he finally finished his meal in 1980. To protect his stomach and intestines from getting pierced by any sharp objects, Mr. Lotito would consume a ton of mineral oil and water during his meals to help the metal, glass, or whatever else move through his system. Michel Lotito passed away in 2007 at the age of 57 from natural causes.
My man ate a whole plane. If you would have told me that a couple of days ago, I wouldn't have believed you. I'm gonna have to look him up, see what else he ate, bro. Any other world records? He had that broken many, man. Eating
These are the world's
that type of
freakiest land
things.
animals. In 2022, a TikToker named Kostika uploaded a video that showed a weird-looking creature running around his backyard. Once the video went viral, wildlife experts took to the comments to explain that it was a lesser blind mole rat. And this is because of how its tiny eyes are nearly tucked under its skin. They spend most of their time underground creating tunnels with their massive teeth. In 2020 in British Columbia, a woman was walking around when she saw a bug that looked like a tarantula with wings. She then shared a photo of the bug to Facebook, where wildlife experts explained that this was a very big moth called a Polyphemus moth. These moths have huge bodies, and despite their scary looks, they don't have mouths to bite. And they have a lifespan of about 2 weeks. And in 2024 in Sydney, Australia, a TikToker named Blonde heard a weird tapping sound coming from her window at night, and she went to investigate. And what she found is like something out of nightmares. At her window, a bat was tapping on the glass, trying to find a way to escape the storm. And it stayed around until the next morning, where Blonde had to call a bat expert to come remove it. But this turned out to be a non-aggressive species of a bat known as a flying fox. And they only eat fruit or flowers. They also struggle to keep warm when they're wet, which explains why it was at her window. Now I just feel sorry for the little guy.
What is the dirtiest country in the world? Well, firstly, the cleanest country in the world is Denmark. It's also labelled the most environmentally friendly. But what country is the dirtiest? In 5th place, it's Pakistan. Pakistan is home to the world's most polluted city, Lahore, and has become a major problem in Pakistan. The air is voted hazardous for breathing, and Pakistan is also voted 3rd highest for public defecation. In 4th place, it's Bangladesh. Bangladesh suffers from
pollution also, mostly from vehicles, factory fumes and dust. The air quality in Dhaka, one of the world's most crowded cities, is also labelled as very poor and dangerous. The serious overpopulation in Bangladesh is also a huge factor contributing to this. In third place, it's Vietnam. Vietnam is very polluted due to the transportation system and the excess cars and motorbikes on the road. The water is very polluted due to trash being thrown away and neglected, and a lot of the popular cities can be covered in litter. In second place, it's Myanmar. Myanmar has suffered badly with trash pollution, but most of all, water pollution. Myanmar have a long-lasting problem with dirty water. More than anything, being a river cleaner is a job, collecting trash such as plastics and cans, then selling it, making up to $10 a day. Finally, in first place, it's India. India have suffered really badly from air pollution, trash and hygiene issues. It is #1 in the world for public defecation, and overpopulation has been becoming a concern for India as the country is growing at a very fast rate. Most of the lakes and rivers are poisonous and hazardous, and the pollution in some areas is very severe, making it the most polluted country on Earth. If you enjoy videos like these, please follow our page for more facts.
We learned out here today, Seekers. I didn't know, man. I didn't think India was gonna be on that list. Most polluted in the world. We gotta do better, man. We gotta take care of our planet, bro. We only have on the Earth, man. So we gotta do our best to take care of it. I wasn't expecting that. Hey, man, that's why I say these facts. I'm learning just like y'all. Edit, man. I think, man, I'm getting better at spotting the edits. Watching these videos every day with you guys.
Can you believe that this was almost the Ghostface mask for Scream? While scouting out locations for the first Scream movie, they stumbled upon a mask in an abandoned house. It was produced by a company named Funworld, and it was called the Peanut-Eyed Ghost. Well, Funworld wanted a little bit too much money for them to use their mask, so they went to the drawing boards. Here are just a few of the concepts that they drew up. Quite different, huh? They were eventually able to come to an agreement, and thus one of the most iconic horror masks of all time was born. This may look like a Wish.com Michael Myers mask, but it's actually from the original movie. 43 years ago, they painted a Captain Kirk mask white, and now we have one of the most iconic horror killers ever. I'm actually impressed with how well it held up over that long. Who is the most realistic psychopath in cinematic history? Starting in 2014, Belgian professor Samuel Liestad wanted to know which movie characters best represented psychotic traits. Over the course of 3 years, him and 10 of his friends watched over 400 movies, spanning from 1915 all the way to 2010, trying to find the best movie psycho. Believe it or not, Norman Bates, Patrick Bateman, and Hannibal Lecter didn't even make the cut. The team believed that their traits did not quite fit the psychopath mold. They all agreed that the best movie psychopath was Anton Chigurh in No Country for Old Men. They wrote that he seems to be effectively invulnerable and resilient to any form of emotion and humanity, and I 100% must agree. Their runners-up were Hans Beckert in the 1931 German film M, and Henry Lee Lucas in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Who is your favorite movie psychopath?
These are the safest countries to go if World War III was to start.
That's mind blowing.
And considering the news at the moment, you might want to sit down, shut up, and listen. So favorite this video, just in case you ever need it. I hope we never do. Now, there are countries all around the world, but let's start with Argentina. Now, if this was to all break out, it's likely that the world would look similar to Terminator 2 Judgment Day at the end. It's likely that all the smoke from all of these will block out the sun, this resulting very quickly in famine and crop failure. But don't panic, because we have Argentina. In Argentina, there are an abundance of resistant crops, such as wheat. This is one of the places on Earth that actually has a chance of surviving World War III. Next up, we have one of the big ones, Switzerland. Now, aside from the fact that it is incredibly neutral when it comes to politics, it has a landlocked geography and mountainous terrain, as well as being one of the countries with an insane amount of underground bunkers. Actually, there's 26,000 of them, which are actually all very hidden, which will mean you will be very safe. As well, just in case there is an invasion, Switzerland literally has booby traps everywhere. It's actually kind of insane. And awesome! Next up, we have one of the big ones, Antarctica. Now, barely anyone thinks about going there, which is why it's pretty safe. However, as you can tell, it's a bit fucking cold. So raincoat.
Yep.
Next up, we have Greenland. Now, it was in this movie, and they all survived. But on top of that, it's remote, mountainous, and politically neutral, making it kind of an ideal refuge point. And on top of that, worst case scenario, you're not too far away from the global seed vaults, which, you know, has a lot of seeds in it, so for planting, and thus food and survival. There are literally so many more countries on this list. So if you'd like me to go through more countries in a part 2, let me know. And hopefully we'll never need this video. But just in case we do send this to a friend, it could save their life one day. Elon!
One of the biggest
Greenland,
mysteries in history has finally been solved. Alright, firstly, in 1915, explorer Ernest Shackleton and his crew set off for a voyage to explore Antarctica. However, before they could make it to Antarctica, the ship they were on, known as the Endurance, got trapped and crushed by the ice. Now, with no other options left, all of the members on board had to navigate a lifeboat hundreds of miles to safety. On this journey to safety, all of the crew survived many storms, even one being a hurricane, until they got onto a rescue boat. Even though they failed to get to Antarctica, this became a famous story because they didn't let a setback crush their spirit. But for over a century, the biggest mystery was, where did the ship end up? And believe it or not, but in 2022, the ship was actually discovered, and they were so close to where they wanted to be. It was found 2 miles underwater, and because of the frigid temperatures, it was actually pretty well preserved.
I think that's just a sign, man. Like I said, they didn't give up. They didn't stop. They literally couldn't, bro. That was their way of survival, man. They didn't give up. They didn't stop. They didn't let that crush their spirits, and they found their way home. But they was like right there, bro. Goes to show you, man. You can literally be right there. You never know, man. You know that's an edit. Stop playing with us.
A few wholesome history facts to brighten your day. In 1957, Northeast Airlines Flight 823 crashed onto Rikers Island. Prison staff and inmates alike ran to help the survivors. To acknowledge the heroic actions of the 57 inmates who helped, 30 were released and 16 got a reduced sentence. When Anthony Smith was 4 years old, he was fitted with a hearing aid, but soon became depressed and refused to wear it, saying, "Superheroes don't wear hearing aids." His mother, desperate for help, reached out to Marvel. In response, they created the superhero Blue Ear in his likeness. The zip-up cardigans that you would always see Mr. Rogers wear were actually made by his mother. She also knitted them for military troops in Pennsylvania. One of them is now located in the Smithsonian Museum. 3 completely useless yet interesting facts. Have you ever wondered why barns are typically painted red? It has nothing to do with the color itself, but for its usefulness. Long ago, different colored paints and sealers weren't an option for farmers. They needed to make sure they found or made a paint or sealer that would protect the wood on their barn. They would seal their barns with linseed oil. They would add milk, lime, and iron oxide. Rust would kill fungi and mosses and worked as a great sealant. It also turned the mixture red in color. Have you ever wondered why there's cotton inside of some pill bottles? The tradition of doing so started in the early 1900s when Bayer would put cotton in their bottles to prevent breakage of their pills during shipment. And finally, what is the purpose of putting your phone in airplane mode when you're riding on a plane? I mean, there's absolutely no way that could cause a problem while you're on an airplane, but it actually could. You see, airplane mode disables all wireless and cellular signals coming from the phone. Believe it or not, those signals could actually interfere with important.
Let's talk a little bit about what's going on.
Airplane mode is a must on the plane.
A lot of the locals there who believe what they're watching is a serial killer on the streets. Somebody who is roaming the city undetected, and it all ties back to Lady Bird Lake and all of the bodies that continue to appear in that lake under very strange circumstances. So they think that this is connected to the nightlife on Rainy Street. Thought being that a lot of young men, while they're out at bars, are getting profiled at these bars. The suspicion is that their drinks are getting drugged and then they are wandering off on foot. Now, pathway-wise, they eventually make their way to Lady Bird Lake, but somebody is following these men. The suspicion being that they are drowned in the lake and that the bodies are recovered. However, there is somebody who is suspected to be a survivor of an alleged attack. So what he remembered was that he was was definitely drugged while he was out at a bar and then was on foot. While on foot, he was then crossing a bridge near Lady Bird Lake where he was pushed off by someone. Whoever that mysterious figure was who did push him off the bridge, it's an unknown. And I would say the bigger question is, why are the Austin PD not investigating this?
They need to, but that's what I say, man. When you out, cover your drink. If you walk away, if you have to go to the bathroom, and you come back to that drink, might as well just dump it out, get a new drink, man. You don't know what's in it. Learned that very early on, Seekers. It ain't worth it.
This is the case of the girl that vanished into thin air. Her name is Yuki Onishi. On April 29th of 2005, 5-year-old Yuki was out celebrating Greenery Day with her mother. It's a national holiday in Japan, and what they do is they go out, they celebrate nature, and they collect bamboo shoots. So Yuki, her mom, and 60 other people were out doing this. Yuki was so excited that she found her first bamboo shoot, she showed her mother, and then she ran off to find more. That's when she disappeared and was never seen from again. When they realized that she was nowhere to be found, they actually brought in search dogs and the police. This is where it gets really strange. The dogs followed her scent to the middle of the forest and then just stopped. The scent stopped in the middle of the forest as if she had just disappeared into thin air from that spot.
Whoa.
To this day, she has never been found and no one knows what happened. If you want to hear some theories, come back for part 2.
Creepy last words people said right before dying.
Scary.
Registered nurse Shirley Smith said that she had a very rich patient who was a true Satanist that was dying of cancer. The patient had upside-down crosses and a Satan's Bible by her bedside. Shirley said that she will never forget what happened. It was the middle of the summer, and yet it was so cold and dark in her room that you couldn't even stand it, even in the middle of the day. She said that it got so evil feeling in there that she had to call a priest to pray with her and her aides before they would even enter the room. When the patient passed away, she had not spoken in over 24 hours. And then all of a sudden, she sat straight up and said, "Satan, take me." And then she fell back on the bed. Shirley said that after she passed, the room got bright and extremely warm. Shockingly, when they moved the patient's body, they had to get rid of the mattress because where her body had been, it looked burnt. And the most horrible smell was emanating from the mattress cover. Needless to say, Shirley went to confession immediately because she did not want an evil spirit around her. A nurse said that one of their patients had a serious recurrence and had to be admitted. Over the course of several nights, he had become quite upset during rounds. He kept asking for his wallet, saying that he had to pay the ferryman. The medical student on rotation in the department took a quarter out of his pocket and put it in the patient's hand. The patient then dropped the coin into the cup on his bedstand and calmed down. Later that night, he passed away quietly. The nurse asked what happened. The medical student, who remembered his Greek mythology, said that the patient had to pay Karen, the ferryman, to be taken across the river Styx. A nurse said that he was doing rounds at a hospital. There was one 2-patient room, and one of the patients was a very loud and confused woman who could be quite a handful. On this particular night, she had a roommate who had passed away shortly before the nurse entered the room. She was DNR, so there was no code blue. When he entered the room, he noticed that the elderly lady, who was usually very loud and confused, was sitting quietly with her hands crossed neatly upon her lap. Something was different, and there was this look of serenity on her face. She asked him in a voice that seemed much younger and clearer than before, "Did you see them, young man? They're so beautiful." He said, "No, ma'am, there's no one else here." She said, "They're right next to you, talking to Mrs. Banneker. The angels. They're so beautiful." He said that he instantly felt every hair of his body stand up, and an electric tingle course up and down his spine. "They're not here for me this time," she said sadly.
Steve Jobs was known to put his feet in public toilets as a way to relieve his stress. There was a swarm of 20,000 bees that followed a car for 2 days because their queen bee was trapped inside. 90% of people in China and Singapore now own their homes. In the US and Canada, that number is only 65%. In Germany and Switzerland, that number is only 43%, but it's because they have specific incentives for long-term renting, and they have strong tenant protections that we just don't have. NASA dumps 500,000 gallons of water on their rockets before takeoff just to make sure, it doesn't blow itself up. There was a study of over 1 million comments from over 15 years of relationship advice on the subreddit for relationship advice. The red line on this graph is the advice to just end the relationship, and you can tell from 2010 to 2025, that advice got a lot more potent. 13 Call of Duty games have come out since Grand Theft Auto 5.
Sorry, what? Seriously, if you're about to drink cold water, don't, apparently. Don't ever do it again. I mean, first of all, it's don't drink fizzy drinks. They're bad for you. Then, obviously, you've got to drink filtered water or bottled water or whatever. But now, just don't drink water at all, apparently. I don't actually believe I'm saying this, but saw this video the other day. Take a quick watch.
If you're drinking cold water or even your cold beverages, listen up. This can have serious implications on your digestion.
Now, this guy claims that if you drink cold water, it's actually extremely bad for you. Apparently, cold and freezing water causes serious implications in your digestive system when you actually drink it. It doesn't really make that much sense, if I'm being honest with you. As I say, a lot of doctors claim this is true. They literally say, no, if you drink cold, really, really cold water, you could actually die at some point. Die? But there is no actual evidence in supporting this, so I don't really get it. But a lot of people are warning people to just drink room temperature water, which, yeah, I'm alright, thanks, mate. Don't fancy doing that. I mean, we all know the best feeling when you're really thirsty and you have a big ice-cold drink. So, whatever these claims people are saying, I don't know, but, I mean, I don't remember the last time someone died from drinking cold water. That's growing.
Bro, I just drank some cold water last night, man. So now you telling me I gotta stay away from that, bro? Room temp only? I don't know if I can do that, man. I'm going to dive deep into that research, bro. Is that cold water really bad for you? That's a head scratcher.
Nuck was absolutely terrified of the running lines in swimming pools, because I was. This is going to be the dumbest video you watch today, and I'm not even ashamed, but this is one of my biggest phobias, and it always has been, is these frickin' running lines on the bottom of swimming pools. Why were they so terrifying? Also, this little, rope thing that separated the different lanes in the pool. I'm so weird. Am I the only one? I know I'm not, because I get comments all the time, but oh my god, why is this so freaky? Here's a photo of it completely underwater, with this little drop-off. I hate this. I have a huge phobia of swimming pools. This is disgusting. Call me dramatic, call me stupid all you want. I don't care. This is stupid. This is crazy. Definitely one of my dumbest phobias ever. But those running lines, they look like giant snakes when I was little. You know that I have a phobia of paintings on the bottom of swimming pools, but those lines in particular, hate it. And here they are in a drained pool that has been abandoned. Love that for me and you. And once again, another photo of an abandoned pool with the lines where it's drained. I hate this.
So apparently, all energy drinks are not made equal. And Monster Energy Drink itself is now marketing an energy drink just for women. So if you have not been focused on the energy drink game, there's a brand new energy drink that's being marketed just for women, and it will be out early 2026. Meet Monster Energy's new female-focused energy drink, Flirt. Believe it or not, the claims of this product, Flirt, are that it's supposed to support many things that women really care about. Collagen, skin, hair, you name it, it'll support it. So apparently this is the first drink that is on the market to keep women both alert, energized, and have their skin looking amazing. The one difference with this new Flirt is the size of the cans. They are only 12 ounces. Well, as far as I know plenty of females that have cracked open a Monster Energy drink and just, chugged it back and enjoyed it. Why did they have to go and make a female Monster Energy drink with all the funky colors on the can and different designs, and then come up with the name Flirt? What does that even entail? So I guess my question to you is, will you be buying and trying, or are you just satisfied with the regular Monster that they sell now? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
New study has found that raccoons are showing early signs of domestication. Dogs
you may have competition. Now, the study conducted at the University of Arkansas suggests that raccoons living in urban areas in North America are physically changing in response to life around humans. Now, the researchers suggested that domestication starts when wild animals start hanging around humans and adapt on their own, rather than us domesticating them. Dogs hung around ancient garbage piles and cats showed up for the mice that followed. But in this process over hundreds of years, physical changes were also observed. Shorter snouts, smaller heads, floppy ears, and white patches of fur. This pattern, which is noted all the way back in the 1800s, is called the domestication syndrome. And raccoons in the Big 25 and before GTA 6 might have that syndrome. Of the 20,000 raccoons observed across the US, researchers discovered that the ones living in the city have shorter snouts than the ones living in rural areas. Bro, what even is this year?
You think you know the truth about aliens? Well, wait until you see what them government insiders say. Amazon Prime is dropping a documentary that's going to change the way everybody thinks. The Age of Disclosure features 34 high-ranking officials. I'm talking intelligence, military, Congress. Names like Mark Rubio pop up, dropping statements like, something is flying over our nuclear facility, and it's ours. They intelligent. And a secret global race can reverse engineer alien technology. And this ain't fun fact about UFO. We're talking possible national security threats. Tech we can't reverse engineer yet. And power structures that may already know more than they're telling. If these claims are real, it's time to question who's really pulling the strings. This documentary is going to show hard-to-deny testimony, pilots, intelligence officers, missile site witnesses that say they saw the crabs that wasn't human. This shit is going beyond we are alone. This shit is basically about who's been here all along and what tech they left behind. You got to ask yourself, why are they releasing this shit now? Right when AI is on the rise, right when space projects are accelerating. This might not just be a disclosure. This might be conditioning. So when you watch this shit like they're finally saying what everybody's been thinking. Because that's what this shit is going to be like. I'm out.
Their symbolism will be their downfall. Did y'all see that they included black horses in the opening, the introduction of the ceremony today? I feel like they are ramping up with the symbolism. I feel like Satan knows he does not have a lot of time left. And so he is 110% ramping up, going 0 to 100. And I feel like a lot of us are asleep and we are not seeing the symbolism that is right in front of us. So I asked the Bible app Haven about this apocalyptic symbolism that I feel like a lot of people is not seeing. I said, what does the Bible say about a black horse? So Haven responds with, Revelation 6:5, and it talks about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and that it brings famine and scarcity. Remember, famine and scarcity. But I want to know more. I said there was some symbolism on the world stage with Donald Trump and black horses for a ceremony, okay? So then Haven says, it sounds like you're connecting the Bible to biblical symbolism in real life involving Donald Trump. I feel like this mockery it's like a slap in the face, because guess what? Revelation 6:5 says, when he opened the 3rd seal, he heard the beast say, come and see. Beheld, lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. You're seeing this biblical symbolism on the world stage. Not just America, it's everywhere. We're seeing this same exact symbolism.
Pfizer is a conspiracy that involves the Vatican. This man, who was a monk in Italy, named Pellegrino Ernetti, and he had this skill set of restoring old Gregorian chants. And he was working with this other guy who was his boss, and then the guy who he was working with, the guy heard his father's voice. He's like, that sounds like my dad, this frequency that was coming in. He heard his father talking about shining shoes or a shoe repair or something. He's like, that is my father, because he was a cobbler. They're able to tap into this whole past life. And so that got Father Pellegrino to start doing research into what he called residual energy. He theorized that that could be detected. He went back, fragments had remained, and no one knew what the play was. He went back and was able to watch the whole play and write down the entire play. That is nuts, so dude. They went to the Pope with it, and the Pope said, you have to get rid of it. He said, this is way too dangerous to have. Supposedly, they dismantled it, but there's a lot of people theorizing that the Vatican still has it, they still use it, and potentially the CIA is involved in it.
Oh, she's possessed. Straight up.
Wait, something's going on. Her face doesn't look like herself. Something's going on.
Yo, I've seen this video. It's a couple that does these hauntings. And one of them was they actually explored a prison where a lot of people died, right? So this is when the husband was really scared. They have a code word whenever they go so you know that they're still there with you, right? The wife's sitting there and she's smiling. Like in the video, she even says, look in my eyes, because her eyes were just like looking at someone in the distance. Husband was like, baby, you remember our code word? And she's like, we don't have a code word. Don't be funny. I don't know what that is.
We don't have it. We have a word safe word. What's the word safe word? Come on.
I just want to go.
Come on.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. You're not good.
The husband's like, okay, we have to get out of here. Let's do a ritual on you real quick before we go, because this is like haunted. You want to see it?
Oh, she's possessed. Like straight up.
Yeah, she said this is the first time I felt like an
What's the safe word?
Like a safe word.
What's the safe word?
And how we don't have a safe word.
Oh, that's crazy. We have a word safe word.
And they always have a safe word.
That's wild.
Stop. You trying to exercise me?
I'm this congregatio. Exacta diabolic.
This is not what you're supposed to hear from supposedly the happiest place on earth. And that's why you need to listen up. Something weird is happening at Disney, and y'all cannot ignore this. 5 people have died at the World Disney Resort within a month. And the latest one that happened, it happened at the Saratoga Spring Resort on November 8th. People are saying that's a quiet resort, and you would never expect something like that to happen, let alone at Disney, because like they said, it's the happiest place on earth. Nobody's saying Disney is not safe, but when the same theme park keep having incidents happen within a short time period, people gonna start asking questions, and rightfully so, because it's a little weird. It's becoming a little weird. Once, twice maybe, but 5, it's crazy how life works. It did, but why go to a happy place to do that? It's weird. Or if it's natural, just imagine you go to a place where you vacation at with your family, make memories, have fun, and then that's the last place you ever was alive. Y'all let me know what
this right here is the first household humanoid robot you can buy today for just $20,000. It's called Neo. But here's what they're not telling you in the marketing. Almost nothing you see in those promotional videos is actually autonomous. Those tasks are being performed by humans wearing VR headsets remotely controlling the robot. When you buy Neo and it can't figure out how to do something, which is most tasks, a human operator connects remotely and takes control. They can see through the robot's cameras into your home while they manually do your dishes. The few things it can do autonomously, opening doors, fetching basic objects, that's about it. And it's painfully slow. 5 minutes to load 3 items into a dishwasher, over a minute to walk 10 feet and get water from the fridge, 4-hour battery life before it needs to recharge. It can't handle anything hot, heavy, or sharp. Frequent failures, needs breaks to cool down. And you're paying $20,000 for the privilege of beta testing their unfinished product while strangers remotely control a robot in your house. This is the reality gap. Marketing shows a fully autonomous home assistant. Reality is a remote-controlled robot with severe limitations that requires human operators to do most tasks while watching your private life through its cameras. When the robot made you pay 20 grand for needs a human to actually do the work, are you buying automation or just expensive remote labor with a privacy problem? You mean...
That's freaking iRobot right there, man. It's literally in the movies, but why aren't people paying attention, man? The fact that it's $20,000 too, and it's not even a freaking finished product, that's diabolical, bro. They say it's like for beta testing and stuff like that. I don't know who's getting that, man. And to name it Neo, bro. Like after the movie The Matrix. That's crazy work.
6-7 is actually demonic. So the guy who made the song 6-7, his name is Skrilla. And even more worse for Skrilla, he does witchcraft. He literally practices Santeria. During all of his concerts and appearances, he wears these creepy masks. And he also worships demons. And even more insane, every demon has their own number. For example, one demon will be assigned number 6, another will be assigned number 41, and the demons that Skrilla worships are number 6 and 7. Oh, but it gets even more insaner. When Skrilla is practicing Santeria, he literally shared videos of him doing weird things to chicks chickens and goat heads, where he does SACRAFICES to them. And Skrilla constantly talks about selling his soul and how he's a vampire, and that his clothes are spiritual and like casting a spell. And now a lot of people feel like it is mocking faith. He literally had babies doing the 6-7. Now parents are mad at teachers because entire classrooms were doing this. It was showing up everywhere. And now some people are even saying that the 6-7 kid is an industry plant from the devil himself. And I say himself because we all know the devil is a man because women aren't evil. Will you ever say 6-7 again?
Shit. Ariana Grande has caused quite a storm on social media this week, and it's all to do with the dress that she wore for the Grammys. And yes, the Grammys has been some time, but people weren't actually paying attention. So Ariana Grande basically wore this red glitter dress, but what a lot of fans didn't actually realise was that it actually had a red shoe on the back. And as much as some people think it's nothing more than a reference to Dorothy's shoes from The Wizard of Oz, other people are actually speculating that Ariana Grande is in fact referencing the Red Shoe Club. So what is the Red Shoe Club? The Red Shoe Club allegedly is for the elite, filled with high-list celebrities, parts of the royal family and even politicians. It is a club in which they kidnap, traffic, kill and even sometimes eat young children. People believe that the red shoes are actually made from human skin, and the people who wear them are part of this. Wearing the shoe is basically a symbol to others about their power. Don't shoot the messenger because I just think it's a Dorothy reference.
Alright, quick update. NASA just held their live stream about 3i Atlas. Here's the highlights. I'm going to show you the images and I'm going to give you my take on the whole thing. So they opened by immediately shutting down all the hype, the speculation, rumors. Straight out of the gate, they said, this is a comet. There's no mystery, just a standard classification of a comet. They did say that their teams were still quietly tracking 3i Atlas through the whole government shutdown. So, you know, they've been collecting data nonstop, basically. They then showed some images, and they showed it from multiple spacecraft. So they started with the Psyche spacecraft. They then showed an image from the Lucy, and the Maven was next. And then they also showed something from the SOHO missions. NASA has launched a dedicated 3i Atlas page with a whole bunch of imagery up there, so I'll link it down below so that you can dig through it yourself and check it out. Now, they did emphasize that they're still going through tons of data. So they said there's going to be more images, more analysis, and more detailed information that will be released in the near future. Look, overall, though, it was underwhelming. It was interesting to some degree, but nothing mind-blowing. No big surprises, no dramatic reveals, very conservative overall. Did you watch it yourself? Do you feel like they answered your questions at all? Or do you think NASA is still holding back? Let me know your take.
I mean, if they really legit did find something, could they even say it? So I guess do you think they was like trying to play it down on purpose, man? I'll be seeing all these 3i Atlas videos on YouTube, bro. People have many theories of what it could be, and when that actually picture came out, I saw it. It was like so blurry. People was like, "Wow, that's what we're tracking." So there could be more behind the story.
A chapel that has a staircase in the church that does not use wood, any nails, any glue from this earth. So, have you ever heard about the mystery of the Loreto Chapel? Never heard about it. So, here's the story. They're building this chapel in New Mexico, right? And the French architect in charge suddenly dies before finishing the staircase to the choir loft. So the nuns, they pray to St. Joseph for like 9 days, hoping someone will come and build the stairs. On the last day of their prayer, this guy shows up out of nowhere, like literally from the desert, riding a donkey. He just walks into the church and says he was sent to build the stairs. In just 3 months, he builds the entire staircase, and then poof, he's gone. Didn't even ask for payment or anything. So the nuns, they go to the lumberyard to see if they owe anything for the wood, but the workers are like, nah, this guy never came here to get wood, and here's the craziest part. There's not a single nail used in the entire staircase. So the chapel's curator, right, he's like, okay, we need to figure this out, and brings in over 120 experts to examine it. They all say the same thing, it's physically impossible to build a staircase like that.
Y'all seen this yet? There's something going on in the Caribbeans, y'all, because Melissa just came through and destroyed Jamaica, right? And now, right, not just Jamaica, but Haiti as well. But check this out. Now Haiti's name says Haiti instead of Haiti, and this is a federal map too. This is the aviation map. They're showing you guys this is Haiti. But nonetheless, y'all, something's going on because this was spotted today, and the weather started acting weird around this general area. People are still hearing loud booms around the world, and then all of a sudden this pops up in the Caribbean. And did you guys see what's happening in Jamaica right now, y'all?
Brutalize the tree and leave them with no limbs nor leaves. We're now experiencing a major fire here from West Africa. May God help us.
Something is going on in the Caribbean, especially with Jamaica, man. These people cannot get a break. Look at the trees. The trees are barren. They're dead. And now something sparked a fire out there. See, I told y'all there's a lot of action going on in Jamaica right now because my friend just sent me a video of meteorites in Jamaica. This was just a few days ago. Remember earlier this year, this also happened, and now it's happening again. You know they talk about that dragon, that Leviathan waking up in the Jamaica, right? Y'all know about that, right? I literally just posted a video about a Jamaican guy talking about the Leviathan, but look, check this out, y'all. Look at this, look. Look at the head, look at the snout. Y'all see that? Jamaica's right there, and Haiti right there. That's why a lot of stuff be happening there, y'all. Y'all see that? It's literally the eye of the dragon, the snake. Y'all see that? And they talking about this thing is waking up. That's probably why that fire is there. Like the nose, y'all see that? The times are here. We are in prophecy. This would make sense as to why there's a cleansing going on in Haiti and Jamaica right now. But this is all part of the shift, y'all. I've been telling y'all, the shift is here. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's continue to get.
You won't believe what this man was caught doing with a corpse. 46-year-old Randall Bird was caught doing inappropriate things to a corpse while he was working his shift as a security guard at the Banner University Medical Center in Phoenix. Randall's job was to bring deceased bodies to the hospital's morgue and slip them into the freezer. But during his shift, co-workers walked in on him and caught Randall inside the freezer with his zipper down, his uniform looking messy, and a body bag open. He was seen almost on top of the 79-year-old deceased woman, and when the workers walked in, he quickly tried to cover the body. The workers said that Randall looked so sweaty and nervous when they caught him, and his excuse was that he had a medical emergency and he almost passed out. His co-workers did not believe a single word and reported the incident. When Randall was interviewed by police a few days later, he basically just said the same story and said that he couldn't remember much of what happened. But not long after, investigators found his DNA on the woman's body, which proves that Randall was in fact doing what we all assumed. He was arrested and now faces multiple charges.
Sick man.
Wish you never knew. Scariest mythical creatures in the world.
Let's check them out.
From Japan. Tick Tick.
Tick Tick.
From Puerto Rico. Chupacabra. From the ocean. CTHULU.
Thought I was gonna say mermaids or sirens. That's surprising.
From Arizona. Skinwalker. From the ocean. Mermaid.
That makes sense.
From Canada. Wendigo.
Here's some things we were taught growing up that just aren't true. Piranhas, in fact, will not just gobble you up the second you step into the same water as them. They only go after, like, dead things or if you have an open wound. In fact, there have been a total of 0 reported deaths via piranha. Dogs' mouths are not cleaner than humans' mouths. I feel like this is common sense. Have you seen the shit that dogs eat? A simple Google search will tell you that this isn't true. Lie detectors don't detect lies. They detect if you're stressed, which could mean you might be lying, but it's not a real indication. It's not accurate at all. Fish have memories. Pretty good ones too. They can remember faces and sounds and other fish for up to months at a time, which is better than most of you guys. There was this one study where a catfish was actually able to remember the sound of a human announcing like its food time up to 5 years after it first heard it. Being cold is not going to increase your likelihood of being sick. Okay, humans made this correlation because when it's cold outside, we tend to go inside, huddle up all together with other humans where more germs can spread around.
These facts are guaranteed to blow your mind.
Humans are the only animals on Earth that like spicy food. Potato chips are responsible for the most weight gain out of any other food. The average termite can live over 100 years. By chewing gum after a meal, it reduces your chance of heartburn. Dogs can sniff.
Disturbing facts that will ruin your day. Firstly, you know these vacuum toilets that are most commonly used on planes and cruise ships? Well, there have been many reports of them sucking the rectum out of people when they flush. Next, this is just disappointing. 1 in 4 Americans actually believe that the sun rotates around the earth. Now, studies show that the average person will wait 5 months of their lifetime for red lights to turn green. You know when you're watching a movie or TV show and you hear these laugh tracks in the background? Well, most of them were recorded in the 50s, so you're hearing dead people laugh. This will ruin your childhood. The Red Power Ranger, Ricardo Medina, pleaded guilty to killing his roommate with a sword. Finally, you are now closer to death than you were when you started this video.
That Red Ranger Power Pack, man, got to me, man. I remember as a kid, bro, watching the Power Rangers, bro. It's like, there's a sad story behind, like, each of these freaking, like, child actors, man. It's like they hit their peak and it's just downhill for them. You know, it wasn't a child actor, man, or, you know, people in that position. That's crazy, man. The Red Power Ranger? What the? What's going on, man?
How rare is your body? Let's find out. About 80% of people have stretch marks, and tons of different things can cause these, like pregnancy, weight gain, growth spurts, weightlifting, etc. Anything that stretches the skin. And new stretch marks usually start out as bright red, but will fade to a light pink or white over time. Only 5% of adults have never had chickenpox. Most people who have had chickenpox will be immune to chickenpox for the rest of their life. However, it remains inactive in nerve tissues and can reactivate later in life, causing shingles. Only about 2% of people have something called aphasia, and this is a phenomenon where you're not able to visualize imagery in your head. And this is a little example where if you're asked to visualize a red square and you close your eyes and think, what do you see? A red square, slightly, or do you see nothing? Only 3% of people have something called scoliosis, which is just an unnatural curve in your spine. And doctors still don't know what causes the main type of scoliosis.
The most uncomfortable products ever designed. Firstly, this Cinderella car seat was designed to make children quieter in the car, and it looks normal when there's a small child in it. But as they get older, you have to adjust the headrest. And to do that, it ends up stretching her neck like this. This Minion shampoo bottle looks like it would be good for kids, but for the strawberry scented one, they decided to make it bright red, so it looks like blood is coming out of his eyes. Next, a Spider-Man tissue box sounds like a good idea, and we all know the main Spider-Man pose. But whoever decided to put that on the Kleenex box clearly didn't think it through, because it looks like you're pulling tissues out of Spider-Man's butt. Lastly, in the Children's Hospital, they tried making a pathway that looks like a red ribbon, but instead, it looks like a path left by someone dragging a bloody body.
They really didn't think that through.
Didn't know. Over 80% of the plants in Tomorrowland are edible, and it used to be 100% of the plants were. There's kale, artichokes, lemons, and a lot of different fruits and vegetables, and even herbs and spices. You are never more than 30 steps away from a trash can at any point in any Disney park. The American flags that Disney flies are fake. A lot of them are missing a star or a stripe, so they don't have to follow the codes of flying at half-mast and taking them down. A one-day ticket to Disneyland in 1955 cost $1. But on top of that, rides did have a fee of about 25 to 35 cents. There is no gum sold inside any Disney parks in order to help keep the parks clean. Since Disney World opened, adults have lost over 1.6 million pairs of glasses, and on top of that, every year they find over 6,000 cell phones and 3,500 cameras.
Could you guys imagine, man, that the freaking tickets at Disneyland were freaking $1, bro? I don't know, they probably, right? You know, nowadays, man, it costs $100, bro. Possibly if you get those passes and everything, a bundle package would probably cost over $1,000, man, so... That was just a great price back then, man. We ain't never getting a dollar ticket to Disneyland ever again, bro. Fun fact, I've still never been, so I don't even know what it's like there.
Something that we have not talked about yet is mermaids. Are they real? Is there any proof of them? Let me tell you. While digging deep on the internet, I found this following video that I'm about to show you. Now, it's very busy and loud, so you need to focus to see what I'm trying to show you. As you can see, we could very, very clearly see a hand of a person that's attached at the knuckles
violently fighting to get out of the net that they were caught in. You don't just catch humans in the water.
Right.
Now look at this hand. This is what scientists think the hands of mermaids look like. And I'm going to show you the hand from the video, and you can see that they're the same. Not to mention, there are a lot of pictures of dried up mermaid skeleton that are unexplained. Now what we technically think mermaids are beautiful women and men who swim around all day and sound magical and just safe, happy creatures. But that's not what people think it is. They're thought to look weird, alien-like. And when they make sounds, they screech, they don't sing. They're scaly all over, not just their tail. And they're just overall harsh, evil creatures. I personally believe they exist because 70% of the sea is undiscovered. So how do we think we know they don't? Tell me what you think.
She was spitting, bro. If 7% of the sea is undiscovered, man, you can't rule them out.
We've made it to part 80 of some of the creepiest submechanophobia things I've ever seen in my life. Why do they keep doing things like this? This is the Awakening statue, and it's in Maryland. This is how big it is for scale, just in case you were wondering. It used to be at this little park area until they moved it to the beach, really close to the water. You can go down there and touch it and visit with it, but when it floods, because that place is pretty common for flooding, it is completely, almost completely underwater, and it looks like this gigantic giant is sprouting from the earth. No. Dang, for free? But yeah, that's what it looks like where it is now, and the water, whenever the tide gets really high and it floods a little bit, this thing goes from like normal scary to absolutely get me the heck out of here, I hate this. No. That's what it looks like. Would you be able to go anywhere near that thing when it's flooded, or when it's not flooded, or any way that it is? I would not be able to even look at it from far away. I would cry. It is made from aluminum, which makes it a little less scary. I can just look at it like a big soup can.
Why is no one talking about
Interesting.
this creepy backstory? This is La Pascualita. The mannequin has been in the window of this Mexican bridal shop since the 1930s. Now look, mannequins weren't even that detailed. Customers noticed that you could see fingernails, eyebrow hairs, and veins on the mannequin. By the way, we're making a Reese's milkshake. Out of all three of these flavor ice creams, which one has to go? Vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry? Comment down below. I want to see if y'all got good taste or not. Now back to
strawberry.
The yo, this is where it gets crazy. The owner of the shop had a daughter named Escuela, and in the 1930s, she was going to get married. So of course, being the owner of a bridal shop, the owner went all out for her daughter, buying her the best dress and setting up everything. Sadly, a scorpion had gotten the daughter's dress, and she sadly didn't survive the sting. People say the exact next day a mannequin appeared at the front of the shop, and she looked strangely similar to the daughter. Even the dress looked similar. Aw, snap. Look at that. Little sweet baby diabetes. They believe the owner did not want to lose her daughter, so she dipped her in wax to preserve her friend. Do you think this is the shop owner's daughter? And make sure to hit that follow, because tomorrow's story is insane compared to this one.
Think it is.
Scariest
matches
urban
up
legends from every US state. This shows some of the most popular urban legends from every single state across the USA. And as you probably guessed, in this series we're going through all of them, from the most normal ones to the really dark, disturbing ones. So let's kick off part 2. Oh, this is creepy. So the legend goes, a long time ago in New York, in a children's hospital. Children would be in this hospital, and at night, obviously, they'd basically just be left alone. The legend was about someone called Cropsy. Cropsy has a hook for a hand and lurks around at night in the children's hospital. He stalked and unalived these people who he found walking in the corridors at night. Apparently, everybody who goes to camp in upstate New York knows about this legend, so let me know if that's true. This is where things get even more disturbing. A documentary was posted which basically confirmed this was real. Convicted killer and kidnapper Andrew Rand. That's him there in the middle, and it was real. That follow button is going to get crazy, and let me know which state you're from.
Damn, they confirmed it was real and all that?
Facts that
People
will
gotta be
blow
careful.
your mind.
Humans are the only animals that enjoy spicy foods. Potato chips cause more weight gain than any other food. It's impossible to hum while you hold your nose. The least interesting day in history was April 11th, 1954. Aldous Huxley and C.S. Lewis died on the same day as JFK. Bigger forks lead you to eat less. The longest living insect is the termite. Chewing gum after a meal reduces heartburn. Dogs can smell cancer. Bees can detect bombs. Follow and comment below which fact blew your mind.
Got a bomb detector in bees, bro?
Around the world.
Using.
Today we'll be looking at something called the Yaramayahu of indigenous Australian mythology. The Yaramayahu are described to be small frog-like humanoids that have reddish skin. They sit up in the trees and wait for somebody to walk by. They'll jump down and consume the victim's blood like a vampire, and then after consume the entire victim and go to sleep. They'll then regurgitate the victim and repeat the process of consuming them. Eventually the victim will turn into a Yaramayahu. If you're walking around in Australia, make sure you keep your eyes up on the trees.
Okay. Noted when you go in Australia.
Let's talk about another one of the most interesting and terrifying Japanese urban legends, Tsukima Onna, or the Girl in the Gap. If you've ever been alone in a room and still felt like something was watching you, it was probably Tsukima Onna. This Japanese spirit is said to live between the gaps of physical objects, for example underneath furniture and in between the cracks of open doors, basically anywhere that there's a little bit of space. Some people say this is also a metaphor for her living between two worlds, the human world and the spirit world. It is best to avoid interacting with her if you think that she's hiding in your room, because if you lock eyes with her, she will ask you if you want to play a game of hide and seek, and if you lose the game, she will drag you back down to hell with her. Unfortunately, the only way to get rid of her is to beat her at her own game. Otherwise, you will always feel as if she's watching you for the rest of your life. Press share, copy link, follow for more, and comment what country I should do next.
Interesting.
You never knew. You have tiny skin mites that come out at night and do the thing on your face. A 10-second kiss on the lips can pass on 80 million bacteria, some unknown to scientists. Good thing you don't have to worry about that. Certain kinds of tumor called teratoma can cause your body to grow teeth and hair around it. When Eskimo babies have colds, their mother sucks the snot out of their nose with their mouth. Yeah, people who stay up at night are more likely to become psychopaths compared to those who sleep early. So please go to sleep now.
So if you're a night owl, man, you got that trait, you're gonna be a psycho. We got the night owls and the seekers, man. A whole Pennywise house. I wouldn't stay there. You couldn't pay me enough money to stay there.
Question that has long plagued police is, what do we make of the McGrady tapes? So back in like 2001, at a Blockbuster in McGrady, North Carolina, a car drove by in the parking lot and just dropped a tape outside of the building. So employees saw that and they went outside to get the tape and they were like, who would drop a tape off like that? Until they looked at it and they noticed something was wrong. This was the tape that was recovered from the parking lot and it was completely unlabeled. According to the story, they took it to the back room where they were able to play it back, and this was the footage they found. It is a 40-minute video of a person's face looking under what looks like a bathroom stall, and it's completely silent, like straight, uncut 40 minutes of this, and the cameraman just breathing heavily while they videotape this. Management turned the tape over to police, and the strangest part is that a search canine signaled that the tape had traces of human decomp on it. To this day, whoever's behind the McGrady tape is a mystery.
McGrady tapes.
It's caught on camera.
Chilling.
think?
That's the main question.
I think if you guys breathe into your nose and out through your mouth. Do it. Ready? Just breathe into your nose and out through your mouth, man. Alright? We're good, man. I appreciate it. Deep breath. So firing. I mean, were you doing this? Just fucking. But when you fire at her, I was just. What you did hit her? No. Okay. I don't. She falls in camp. She fell. I just kept trying and rolled up and stepped and it was
Horror movie facts that will.
Yuki wasn't even making sense.
Part 2, Coraline. The soundtrack in the movie is a French children choir singing. Surprisingly, they aren't actually singing in French. They're singing in a completely made-up language. If you look on the wall of the dining room in the other mother's home, you'll see 3 portraits of silhouettes. These likely represent the 3 ghost children that appear later in the film. In the normal world, the boy is sad and has dropped his ice cream. But in the other world, he's happy and his ice cream is perfect. On the back of the chair above where Coraline's doll sits features a small flower-shaped pattern. And this flower is almost exactly like the one on the back of Jack Torrance's chair in The Shining. The Welcome Home cake features a double loop on the O. And according to Graphology, a double loop on the lowercase o means that the person who wrote it is not telling the truth. But on the cake, there's actually only one double loop, meaning that Coraline is welcome, but she is not home.
Breaking news, there has been a major update on the unaliving of Tofia Chu's brother, as authorities have now revealed exactly what happened that day, and trigger warning, it is very hard to listen to. This is the vehicle Tofia, her brother, and her mom were in. They were parked in a church parking lot. They're not sure if they were sleeping or just parked there, but around 3 or 4 a.m., a suspect walked up to the vehicle. They don't know if this was targeted or if he was just trying to take the car. He ended up pewing her brother and her mom and walked around to the passenger side of the vehicle and tried to pull out Tofia, who was able to get away. The suspect then got in the vehicle and started fleeing with her brother, who was unalived, and her mom, who was injured in the backseat, both still in the vehicle, and then he ended up crashing into a black Jeep that you see here. The driver of the Jeep then got into a confrontation with the suspect, and a security guard nearby heard the commotion, walked over, things escalated, and the suspect was fatally pewed. Tofia's mother was then rushed to the hospital and is believed to be in stable condition, but unfortunately her brother did not make it, and neither did the suspect. Tofia is also physically okay, but obviously very hurt from all of this. Rest in peace to her poor brother, and prayers to her mother, and as any new information comes out, I'll keep you guys updated.
This is one case that still haunts me. The story of the disappearance of Jason Jolkowski is one of the weirdest things that you'll ever read about, and it's haunting because to this day, this mystery has never been solved, so let's take a look at it. So this is Jason Jolkowski. He was born in 1981 and lived in Omaha, Nebraska all his life. And this story takes place in 2001. So on Wednesday, June 13th, 2001, Jason was called into work early. So initially, Jason planned on walking to his job, which was 4 miles away, due to the fact that his car was in a repair shop that day. But he eventually made plans for a friend to meet him at a high school that was nearby. So this high school, Benson High School in Omaha, Nebraska, was only half a mile from Jason's house. Literally an 8-block walk, and that's where his friend was supposed to meet him. So just take a look at this photo. This is the exact route that Jason was going to take to the high school. It's only a 10-minute walk, and keep in mind, he was about to make this walk in the middle of the morning in broad daylight. In a city like Omaha, Nebraska, where crimes like disappearances and murders don't really happen all that frequently. So at 10:45 a.m. that morning, a neighbor saw Jason helping his younger brother with the trash outside of his home, and at some point right after that, he left to go on this walk to go meet his friend. And during this walk, Jason vanished off the face of the earth. So to this day, no trace of Jason has ever been found. There were no remains ever recovered. Nobody has seen anybody that's ever looked like Jason. Nobody reported seeing somebody being abducted on the day that he went missing. Nobody even reported seeing anything out of the ordinary. It's as if he simply vanished literally into thin air. They even checked the security camera footage from the school that he was supposed to be walking to that day, and the security camera videos showed that Jason never arrived. It was somewhere on that half-a-mile walk when he vanished. Now, Jason's parents have suggested that they believe he may have been abducted and killed, but with no body ever having been found, that theory is just really hard to prove. And yeah, it's been over 20 years since this happened, and no trace of Jason has ever been found. That's why it's a case that will haunt me. I mean, it's just scary to think that you could be making a half-a-mile walk in the middle of the day, in the middle of your city, and go missing, and no one will ever even find a piece of your clothing.
That's crazy, man. Just vanishing off the face of the earth. That's like truly one of the most scariest things, man, that could ever happen. No trace, no nothing, just gone. Vanished. Nobody knows. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up in this video. Also comment down below. Don't forget to hit that post notification bell so you always get notified when I upload my next videos. You guys are going to catch me in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.